Welcome to MOT today. Mick will be in here momentarily. Obviously, we're going live on TikTok as well. The topics for today, for those of you that are viewing this on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and in the future, are Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer approved the raid on Trump, signs the USA is crumbling, and then the topics that we're allowing for discussion. I mean, we can talk about all these things, but the topics that are aimed at discussion are the following: voting isn't a right, programming is a tool, anti-establishment is evil, the Republicans want to defund the FBI, and the Democrats want to defund the police. So at the moment, we are just waiting on Mick to hop on in, and once Mick gets in here, we will get everything rolling. I hope you guys are doing well. Some interesting stuff going on. Hopefully we can shed some light on it, give some, important analysis. I'm sure Mick has an interesting perspective on what's going on with Donald Trump. I think, we covered this earlier today in the stream for the Honest Hour, and I got to say it was, my opinion still hasn't changed very much when it comes to the whole Trump thing. I really believe that it is, I don't know the true intentions behind it. I do know it's a distraction. I do know it's mostly theater because all news stations are reporting the same thing. FBI wasn't a raid, it was a normal FBI tour of Mar-a-Lago, whatever. So the fact that this happened to begin with is either theater or it's definitely theater. It's definitely theater. But is it using to, aim at invigorating the right? Because that's all you're doing. What's going on, man?
What up, y'all?
So just
Happy Tuesday.
Yep. Happy Tuesday. And yeah, we were just talking about what's going on with the whole Trump thing. I really think that it's mostly theater. I don't know that any of it's organic. I believe if any, because it doesn't make sense why it would be organic. It would be politically incompetent of the Democrats to do this because that just invigorates the voting base for the right. And then Donald Trump can just use this as marketing. I actually heard a theory today that Donald Trump may have called the FBI himself.
Well, first things first, hope you guys are having a great day. While we got all these people in here, man, tap the screen. Let's get these likes up. We're going to have some good we got some great topics here. We're going to have a great discussion. Tap that screen, guys. Get these likes up. Now, as far as the Trump thing is concerned, I think they're going to try and make it so he can't run, man. I think that's really the main goal of this whole thing. That's what they've been trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, how though? And why?
I don't know. I think if you get charged with a certain federal crime, it bars you from running. I'm not really sure. I haven't done the research on that, but it just seems like what they're trying to do. They might find something stupid there and get him in trouble for it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, apparently they found nothing. That's what I've been hearing. Yeah, you can join here in a second.
They took 12 boxes out this time, but I heard in February they took out 15 boxes. So
yeah, I don't know, man.
It's really maybe it's just another distraction.
Yeah, I kind of think it is, but I don't really know what's going on with it. I know that it's theater for sure. Because every news station is reporting exactly the same. And now you have the Republicans saying defund the FBI. You have Steven Crowder, who's an extremely huge influencer on the right, saying that he will not vote for any political any Republican who supports the FBI. So they're doing the same thing as the left, guys. Do you not see that? And this is what I've been talking about, how they will form into something else. They'll become their own more nationalistic thing, whatever, but they will help each other out. So the left's like, defund the police. And now the right's like, we're going to take it even bigger, guys. We're going to say defund the FBI, even though they're the ones that are ending most of those PEDO rings. The FBI is freaking killer, dude. They're awesome. The FBI is awesome. The CIA is awesome as well. I mean, these organizations have really good people in them. I know that we
Well,
can
if
be,
they're, if they're taking out political opponents, I came up with a new name for them today called the Fascist Bureau of Investigation.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. They can be weaponized. These tools can be weaponized. But overall, they do serve a good purpose. The ATF, I don't know that I agree with their existence because, they're that's a totally different thing. I mean, alcohol, tobacco,
IRS
and
is like doubling their soldiers. Tap the screen, y'all. Let's get these likes up. I know you were talking about that earlier, I think. Yeah, I got in there a little late. You guys were talking about that IRS thing earlier.
yeah, I guess, yeah. I heard on a short today, I haven't seen it myself, but they're also getting more weapons.
I heard that they got all those weapons and shit like a while ago. But I don't know. There's like 770 pages, and I haven't read one. So,
well, this guy right here, Forever Conservative, live, dude, you need to wake up. I guarantee you, I'm more awake than you are. I guarantee it. I guarantee you are still in the beginner phases of truther. I've been down this. I've been down this road a lot longer than you, man. I'm telling you that the government is very, very good. We should have a government. If you're anti-establishment, it is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. You don't understand what you're wishing.
I agree that we need to have a government, but I'm not going to say that this government is good.
I'm not saying this government's good.
Maybe.
That's not my point. No, I would not say this government's good. But governments can be corrupted, but overall governments are good. We shouldn't want to defund the police. We shouldn't want to defund the FBI. I think the real motive for these things is because the pensions have gone out. They're not going to be able to pay their pensions. So the state's like, somebody's like, yo, let's rile them up.
Well, I've made this argument with you before. I didn't even really make the argument, but I made a comment. Why don't they just print the money up then? Pay the people, right? If they're just printing money, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they can't.
What's going on here?
Well, they can't because then you got to get more debt.
$50 million to Ukraine, they can't afford to pay the police.
I mean, I get it. I get it, but they can't even afford to do what they're doing now. So who knows how long it's going to last? But really, the whole pension scheme is like a Ponzi scheme, so it will fail. Yeah,
pensions are crazy. I don't understand how any. That's why they're all gone, because companies just like realize that's crazy. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, you got to take.
With the amount of people that we need to work, like everybody's trying to hire. There's like all these crazy incentives. I saw like some crazy incentive. They were like, for a dishwasher at a restaurant, they were going to give like thousands of dollars for a sign-on bonus and shit. Like, maybe they'll come back with maybe pensions are going to come back, since nobody wants to work. I don't know.
I doubt it. Yeah, I get it though. So somebody says here,
use like crypto or something for the pension.
Right. Yeah, I'm a longtime truther, but I also support all alphabet agencies. Yeah, because I have a brain and I understand that there's actually good people that are in those agencies, and that, like, the FBI, for example, has stopped a lot of PEDO rings. And
supposedly, though, I mean,
they have. They have.
No,
no, there's for sure. No, I know.
Stories to believe in, right?
No, I know for sure they have, because I'm a part of communities who have real people that are in these bureaus, and that they have done that themselves.
Yeah.
So yes, they for sure have. I know people that work in Homeland Security personally. There's good people there, guys. They have really good intentions. Is the system corrupt? Yes. Can the organization itself be corrupt? Yes, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a good purpose they serve. That's my point. Wanting the abolition of these things is silly.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It is, you got to have like structure and stuff. So, but it's definitely been corrupted, like, terribly. There's no doubt. I mean, I would say, like, just the amount of lies that, the things that they don't tell the people, and, like, just,
yeah.
I don't know, man. The fact that the corporations just run everything, and, like, they're just funneling these billions of dollars into the military-industrial complex, and, people are so skeptical of the government, they don't even know if the world's around or not. So it's like, what the hell's really... It's like,
yeah.
Well, nobody knows what to believe. There's just a lot of distrust out there.
Right. We got a comment here on YouTube saying it just needs to be taken over, the leadership. 100%. I do think that these institutions aren't bad. They just need better leadership. And this is where, if you want to be political, you can be political. And but it all starts locally. I don't think that we can make these drastic changes until we start changing the state politics. Like, it has to start locally. And that's why I focus. Like, I don't really focus on it myself. I'm not going to town hall meetings, but if you want to get political, that is where to be political. Especially if you don't have a large following or anything, and you don't have the influence. Definitely local, because every person has influence on their local. Again, the corruption is so
which
deep.
Topics did you start about already?
We're talking about it. We're all here together, man. We all started together. We've been on the same topic.
All right.
Yep.
You guys. So did you guys skip past like the Epstein one and?
No, that's what we talked about. We're talking about it right now.
Oh yeah. So I mean, Epstein, yeah, his lawyer. I was in just a few minutes late trying to share it all, but
yeah, it's all good.
About how his lawyer is the one who sent Trump in his house to get raided, and
yeah,
it's kind of interesting. Is that was it documents related to Epstein that maybe they were going after?
Maybe, but all that's, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's all theater, I think. I don't know. Because it doesn't help anybody politically. If anything, it helps the Republicans, which the Democrats shouldn't want. But why do they want to help the Republicans? Maybe it's that way. Maybe it's because they want to help them defund. Maybe it's because they want to, as I've been saying, get the truthers to approve anti-establishment.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Epstein's lawyer really was trying to, maybe if they were trying to get that evidence out of that, because you know how the FBI feels about Hunter Biden, or my bad, I shouldn't be saying it. I got to be more careful. You know how the FBI feels about, little Hunter, and they're real nice to him, and it's like seems like they only want certain information to go out. So I wonder if maybe they went in there to get some information on this Epstein guy because that maybe Trump had, because maybe that list was real long of people who supposedly was on that airplane. Nobody talks about that anymore.
Well, Trump was on the list.
Yeah, Trump, Billy, Lil Billy,
yeah.
and
but I doubt it. I mean, Trump's not going to do anything. We already know Trump's a puppet of the machine as well. We know that. So Trump wouldn't go ahead and do anything.
I get it.
So I think it's more so. I personally think
last resort. He's like, I'm going to release the Epstein documents.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If you guys try to take me down, and
that's.
Like, nope, we're just.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because we have no proof that would even take place. There's no pattern to show that Trump would have any evidence. And then also he could incriminate himself. So
yeah, but if he has nothing to lose anyway, like if they're taking him down,
well, he does have everything to lose. It's his legacy. Trump is a long-term thinker. He's not just going out like, oh, if I can't get the presidency, I'm destroying my legacy. No, the guy wants to live on forever in the minds of the people. So if anything, he wants to go down as a martyr. He doesn't want to persecute himself. He doesn't want to sacrifice himself that way. I think it's probably because they want to invigorate the right wing to approve the destruction of our current government. I think that's the real motive behind it.
Yeah, I just thought that was a pretty interesting, theory. I think that's where, it was interesting, like that Epstein's lawyer, and maybe it was a cover up. Nobody talks about it anymore. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I get it.
Signs the USA is crumbling.
So that has to do with New York and the mayor of New York. So for you guys that are not aware, the governor of Texas is sending, we'll have to be careful on our language here, undocumented humans. We'll just say humans that are not from the United States to New York City and Washington, D.C. And the New York City mayor said, yo, we're going to send New Yorkers to Texas to campaign against the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, however you pronounce his name. And I think that this Greg Abbott, whatever. Yeah, Greg Abbott. That's how you pronounce it, Greg Abbott.
They wouldn't have voted for him if his name was Abbott.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, DLAC. I don't know if we can talk about Hunter B on here. We're still learning the algorithm. Let me guess. 1 second, guys. Let's just get over this really quick, and then we'll let you all in. So I think that this is a sign of a a declining empire. Now we have states warring against states for their local politics. What does New York City have to do with Texas politicians? Well, they see that there's a change coming and they're trying to get their people in. So that way, once the civil actions take place, they have more allies because they know that there's more red states than blue states.
They're shipping these people back and forth. The people are probably like, damn, we should have just stayed back home, because they don't even want us here.
Right. Well, the mayor of New York City is sending New Yorkers.
What?
Yeah, he sent.
I thought he was sending back the people that Texas sent.
No, he's sending New Yorkers to Texas to campaign against the current governor.
Oh, that's stupid. That's weird as hell. What is he gonna pay for him to stay in a hotel or some shit?
I don't know.
Are they gonna just set up tents there?
Yeah.
He's sending a bunch of homeless New Yorkers there to protest.
No, I think
he $1,000 each.
Maybe, but it might just be a really good political attempt to get him out of office. Another comment here on YouTube. It's another honeypot trying to get right-wingers to do stupid shit. Yeah, I think you could be right, like January 6th. All right, let's start letting some people in here. And then we'll only one person at a time, guys. So, hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, bud?
How are you?
I'm not bad. I just listening in on your live stream, liked what I heard. I was just curious. The phenomenon that you were discussing in Texas, I actually live in Texas, and I'm a truck driver working in the oil fields. And I've been doing this for about 3-4 years now. And I got to tell you, man, between this and the time that I was working in South New Mexico, I've seen a lot of stuff that never made it to the news that if it did, it would have squashed this debate completely. And it really upsets me too, man, because these pathologically altruistic leftists that genuinely mean well, they do mean well, but they just don't understand the nature of the beast that they're trying to defend here. Mm-hmm. And it's just heartbreaking because I've seen only local newspapers print stories about entire families that were, let's call it displaced in a very biblical sense, by these people who come here. They, without invitation, enter the homes of citizens, take what they need, and leave no witnesses. And when I say they squat there, I mean, they will literally just stay in a home until the resources are run dry and the toilet is blacked up, and then they move on. And this isn't to say that I have anything bad to say about the people of Mexico, because God knows I understand why they're fleeing. Mexico is a hellhole and they want a better life. But there's that old saying how, before you put on your child's mask on an airplane, make sure you fix your own. Our nation is in no position to be handling an influx of refugees right now. We can barely take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and I would argue that...
Why are you allowed to just go into these people's houses like that, do that? Where's the law enforcement? Are they Uvalde police? What's going on?
Well, okay, so the first story I heard like this was, it was a border town. I think it was in sort of southwestern New Mexico. I heard it around the campfire when I was working in the oil field, because when you work in the oil field, you usually work 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So you can't really, there's not any TV. You don't have the time for it. You shut down, and the only news you can get is on TikTok, YouTube, etc. But you do talk a lot with cops, especially highway patrols, when you're at scale houses and stuff. And the cop who told me this story said that he heard from an ICE agent that, this is about 2 years ago, mind you, so it's definitely not recent news. They had to basically put half of a neighborhood block under quarantine so they could actually get what was left of this family out, because they were buried under piles of garbage in a room that had been locked to keep the smell in. And they just, they file reports. It doesn't go beyond local news. MSM will not report it.
Okay.
So I'm sure that if you dug, you could find it in the local newspapers if you just like do some reference on reference research. But it really gets my blood boiling. There's one guy. There's a content creator on YouTube called Razor Fist. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah, I know Razor Fist. Yeah.
I like that guy. He's good. He made a video.
Are you on?
Are you
on authorized? Are you on unauthorized TV?
No, I am not. What is that?
So unauthorized TV is a alternative platform. Razor Fist is on there. It's a pay to watch, but you can support Razor Fist. There's a few other good people that are similar to Razor Fist in their political views, such as Vox Day, Owen Benjamin. Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah.
I'll look into that.
But anyway, you were saying about
that noise you hear in the background is my auxiliary pump. I'm at work right now, so please forgive
nice.
the background.
It's all good. It's all good, man.
I thought you were mowing the lawn, but I'm looking at the time. I'm like, I don't think he's mowing the lawn.
No. I'm delivering fluid. I'm still a truck driver. I've got a lot of diesel exhaust fluid I'm delivering to a third party. But
Nice.
Yeah, he made a video. Razor Fist made a video about about basically the wall and why it was so important. I do have a humanitarian desire to help the people of Mexico, but we cannot do it by flooding ourselves. This is like the same argument that people in Europe are having about Syrian migrants. We want to help them. We feel for them. We do. But we can't help them by essentially chewing off our leg to feed them. We can't harm ourselves to help others. No one wins.
Yeah, I mean, there's this old
If I'm
saying,
being
right?
honest,
There's this understanding that most people get, and that is you can't help somebody until you help yourself in your personal world. So you can extrapolate that out to a nation. Yeah, for sure.
I just don't understand why, even in the face of a situation where we're sending these people to New York and these liberal cities, they themselves are validating these so-called racist arguments of conservatives, Republicans, heritage Americans, whatever you want to call them, people who are trying to say, we can't do this anymore. Like, it's not working. It hasn't worked since we've been trying it. The Hart-Celler Act, big mistake. All this stuff doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It baffles the mind how tolerant conservatives and Republicans are.
Yeah, I know. It's
of
insane.
Liberal ignorance.
It's insane. Well, I don't think that I think that there's ignorance on both sides. I think that there's evil on both sides. But I totally get what you're saying because Republicans claim to be for America and they're clearly not. Or they're just ignorant, right? But and
Exactly.
a lot of people are unaware of what Ted Kennedy did to this country with his 1965 Immigration Act. That messed a lot of things up. Yeah.
I mean, to tiptoe a little closer to bannable rhetoric, you could
Let's
say
be
the
very
same thing
let's be
about
very
the
careful.
Equal Pay Act and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to talk very freely, but it's hard with TikTok, man. The algorithms
Yeah,
like
I know.
walking on landmines. So
I literally just got off a 7-day ban for putting a 30-second story on my page
oh man.
about how I hated my boss.
Jeez. Well, don't talk
Yeah,
about
I
that.
They restored the video, but they didn't lift the ban.
Gotcha. Well, hey man, we got somebody else that wants to hop in here. I really do appreciate you coming
Hey,
on,
man, thanks.
sharing your firsthand experience. That's so valuable. So many people don't value that today. They just want to look at scientific
Can I ask
studies.
you a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's rumors that Biden is like finishing sections of the wall that Trump started. I mean, have you seen anything about that, or have you heard anything about that?
I haven't been that close to the border in about a month or two, but if it is true, I will hear about it from a few friends of mine who did some of the contracting work for transporting construction stuff all the way to the border. If it is true, it's not happening in Texas at the moment, from what I can tell. The big stuff that my friend works. Oh, sorry, got a text. the big stuff that my friends talk about right now is mainly just the usual crap. Girders for highways and big fans for useless green energy wind farms. Other than that, nothing that I can tell. If it is happening, it's not happening near my neck of the woods.
Maybe it was in Arizona where he's doing it, and he's not messing with Texas right now.
Yeah, I think that's where it's at exactly. I think it's
I love
somewhere
that,
over there.
I love that oh my God, what's his name? Tucker Carlson, where he was like, if you wanted to secure the way to make it safe for these immigrants, why not just build a bridge? Why are you building the wall?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That's funny. He kind of gets it. Tucker Carlson kind of gets it. But hey, man, once again, we really do appreciate you coming out. We got somebody else that's been waiting a little bit here. So, yeah, it's been good talking to you.
I'll be around, bud.
Peace.
All right. This guy was blowing up in the chats. He's probably going to have some. Hey, what's going on?
Is it the angry person?
Yeah.
Yeah, hello?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Do you guys agree with everything that guy was saying?
Well, first off, let's ask you your position. What's your take?
Okay, I don't believe none of this stuff that you guys posted up.
Okay. I mean, what don't you believe? Because what we stated at the beginning, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer approved the raid. That's factually true. Signs that the USA is crumbling. Those are observations. We can debate that. Voting isn't a right. We can debate that. Programming is a tool. That's objectively true once again. Anti-establishment is evil. That we can debate that. Republicans want to defund the FBI. Factually true. That's coming out now. And Democrats want to defund the police. Factually true. So what exactly is it that you want to discuss, and what's your position?
So I think that basically you're saying voting isn't a right.
And you have a lot of background noise, man. Is there any way that you can get somewhere quiet?
Am I good now?
Yeah, that's a lot
Okay,
better.
now?
Yep, that's a lot better.
Okay, so what do you mean by voting isn't a right?
Well, it isn't a right. I mean, how is voting a right?
Well, it's on the Constitution, the right to vote.
No, it's not.
What do you mean, right? Like voting is a right, like as in everybody can vote, or just basically?
No, my point is voting is a privilege. It's like a driver's license.
Like, so only who can vote? You're saying?
You gotta register, bro.
Well, I would say in this reality which we currently live in, you can just register to vote as a citizen if you're a citizen. So I mean, there's a couple of qualifications, right? You have to be like 18 years old. You have to live wherever you're at for X amount of time. It depends on
So
the
you
state.
think everybody should vote?
No, I don't. Not me personally. No. Why would you want everybody to vote? Then you would cater to the lowest common denominator.
But it's like everybody should have a chance, even if you're not a citizen. You should
No.
be allowed to vote.
No, definitely not.
Even if you're not a citizen, is that what you said?
Yes, everyone should have a right.
Yeah, so basically what you're
If
saying
that's
is
the case, then we should just be able to vote in every country, like, and just make the laws.
You can do that. You can do that.
so you don't believe in nations?
Yeah, I do, but I'm just saying.
How do you
that-
believe in
I-
nations and you think that anybody can vote for anybody's government?
Well, so wait, so what I'm trying to say is that here, I think everybody should be allowed to vote. No, like even if you're not a citizen, like universal voting.
Why?
I mean, because you're part of America, even though
No, you're not.
a citizen.
How are you?
So, like, if someone's coming here to, like, so if people are coming here for a vacation, should they be allowed, or is it just like if you like come here to live here?
Yeah, come to live here, I think too.
Oh,
What do you guys think of that?
No, I
Well,
don't. I don't prescribe to any immigration, actually, currently. I think that everything should be shut down.
So, like saying, as in, like only citizens should vote, right?
I think that it should be even stricter than that.
So,
I think that
I guess
only landowners, head of households. I would even throw in business owners, or I don't even know if I throw in business owners. That's not really fair, but I would throw in landowners, head of households, and yeah.
What about a blue collared citizen?
Yeah, so a blue collar citizen can own land and they can be a head of a household.
Okay, I don't know. I think I disagree because I think everyone should have a right to vote.
Yep.
Because I mean, that's okay. Next topic. I think the U.S. is pretty much thriving right now. I mean, if you think about it, we just took a hit because of COVID, but I think it'll get back up on its feet. Don't you think?
No, not at all. We're crumbling. It's very obvious to see anybody that's been paying attention. The economy's crumbling. The politics are absolutely insane. State governments are now attacking other state governments with political weapons. The raid that happened, whether it's theater or not, will lead to more division within the country. The United States will not be the United States that it is for another, I'd say, 10 to 15 years.
Hey guys, I'm just kidding. I'm conservative.
I figured you were trolling because of the way that you were in the chat. I was like, either this dude's a bot or he's a troll.
I wanted to hop on and I think I agree with mostly everything you're saying. I think it's more scary just when I talk to people about what happened yesterday. Like you don't understand. That's something like third world country-ish, dude.
Yeah, I think it's theater, man. I don't think it should be scary.
Fascist Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah.
It's just
no.
like, what do you honestly, guys? This is a serious question. I want to ask you. You guys look like you guys know what you're talking about too. Do you think we're gonna come back from this? Do you think I'm not hoping that.
Yes, I think so. Yes, I think it's inevitable at this point. I think there will be a balkanization of the United States. I think that it will. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to be affected by it, though. I mean, everybody will be indirectly, but what I mean by not affected by it is like directly in the middle of firefights or anything. I don't think that will be for everybody to experience, but there will be breaking up of the United States. We already see it. And if we keep on the same trajectory, it's going to happen.
I think they're going to try and drag us into a war to unite us somehow. In like the war, that's like the worst way to unite people. But I think that's what's going to happen before things devolve into that. Make sure you guys tap the screen.
Yeah, well, you know what's pretty crazy is I think like what happened yesterday, that just shows that when government gets power, like they can do anything they want.
I don't think government having power is bad. I think that certain people, when they get power, can do bad things.
You think too much of it, you think would be bad or no?
Maybe. I don't know. Because I think that it really depends, because big governments can be very efficient and do a lot of good things. I know it's a very contrarian view, but Stalin did quite a lot to improve Russia. So, and big government. So, I mean, we can make the arguments, though, what Stalin did bad. I got terrible feedback, by the way. I don't know what's going on.
So what do you think? What's your name? I don't know your name. Do I just call you Mo?
My name is Luis.
What is it?
Luis. So, Luis, from your take, what do you think is basically this leading to next? In other words, from what you guys established.
Hey, we got a bad echo right now.
Mind if I hop on? Yeah, I turned off my headset. Can I hop on again? Or?
Yeah, we got a couple other people in here. We'll answer your question, and then we're going to let somebody else in. And if you want to roll back in, that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
All right, man. Yeah, so where do I think this is heading? Well, like I've been saying, I think it's just a slow boil into the movement where we have complete anti-establishment and chaos. That's what they want, order out of chaos.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just trying to enjoy life now while I can, prepare for whatever's to come. And yeah, what do I think is going to happen? I think the same kind of thing's going to happen. Yeah, I think eventually that America is going to break apart, unfortunately. I mean, it really saddens me because I'm very patriotic. I like to think of myself as very patriotic. But hello, guest. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. Yourself?
I'm doing well.
Doing well. I just want to know, like, with Jeffrey Epstein, his lawyer, how did he approve the raid on Trump? I'm Republican. I voted for Trump. I just wanted to know, like, I'm just trying to be more knowledgeable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he used to be a lawyer, and then after 10 years of practicing, he got upgraded he became a judge, and then he just, like, approved of the, because, like, to do a raid, the FBI has to, like, they have to give a warrant apply to the judge or whatever. I'm not a legal expert, man. I'm just telling you what I read from the news story. Make sure you guys tap the screen. I'm liking all these likes, but that's pretty much what happened. And then this guy represented a whole bunch of that. He didn't represent Epstein personally, but he represented a bunch of Epstein's people, like some of his pilots, one of his schedulers, and supposedly some SEX slave. So,
okay. Wow.
Yeah. But then he got the big promotion, after he did such a good job with Epstein's people, and now he's out there pushing the button to get Trump raided. So he's moving up the ladder. Next thing you know, he's going to be the Attorney General probably. So
Yeah.
I just don't understand the craze behind the left of defunding the police. It's absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah, I think I get it. I think it's
they must not have been robbed recently or something.
Yeah. I think it has to do with pensions, man. I really do. I think it has to do with the fact that the local governments aren't going to be able to pay their pensions. State governments aren't going to be able to pay their pensions. We're going to be balkanizing, and I think that the economy is extremely weak. And I think it has a lot to do with that.
Tomorrow's a big day for the economy. The CPI number comes out, so they're going to say whether or not inflation is supposedly going up more or if it's came down more. I think that it's going to be higher than predicted, and then I think the market's going to tank tomorrow, and then they're going to have to raise rates even higher. And then I think eventually they're going to start saying, that the number's coming down.
Yeah. I'm in the mortgage business, and I'll tell you this. The interest rates were announced 2 weeks ago that they're going to have another 0.75% hike.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't think that's taken place just yet, but I think it's going to in the next couple of weeks.
What's your take on the market right now?
They just had a 0.75 hike. They just had 2 in a row.
Yeah, it did. Wait, when was the other one?
The other one just happened like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I was talking
They
about.
just had 2 huge rate hikes in a row.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is the next inflation number coming out. And so, depending on what that is, they might do a whole point hike next time if it's higher than expected. And what this does is this puts pressure on all the other currencies because we are the reserve currency. Everybody wants to use our dollar. And so this puts pressure on all the other currencies, and it makes it harder for those people over there in other countries. So, I'm not like an economic expert by any means, but this is just like some of the things I've been learning.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just hear about the raid on Trump.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for coming on.
Did they find anything?
Not to my knowledge.
12 boxes.
They found, what is it?
12 boxes of Diet Coca-Cola. You didn't see the meme?
Diet Coke.
In some bags
No,
at McDonald's, there was like a meme. They were like carting out. Because I guess they took out 12 boxes of stuff. Nobody knows what was in it. And then, but there was a meme like they were wheeling out 12 carts of Coca-Cola boxes and like some McDonald's and shit.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna head into some kind of civil war.
Well, in February, I guess they did something similar, and they got like 15 boxes from what I was reading today. But I think that wasn't a raid. That was like more of he allowed them to. He just turned it over voluntarily.
No, I'm curious on what they're taking from. What are they stealing?
I don't know.
They're probably pictures from Epstein Island. He has like freaking a whole vault full of them, bro.
You're assuming that. You don't even know.
I'm just making shit up.
Who knows?
Don't sue me for $49 million.
Anyways, I appreciate you guys letting me on here.
Yeah, man, of course.
Hey, no problem. Make sure you follow.
We got somebody on Twitch saying FBI are junk food junkies. Interesting. Who is going to invade? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Z Lady, you'll be next. We've spoke to you before, trying to get people we haven't spoke to yet. Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot, man.
So, something I've been noticing a lot lately, right? Like, a lot of these political issues, the hot the hot button political issues of the day or whatever. I think they're all designed like to trigger us and to put us in division. You know, and I'm viewing like international global forces are really what's running our country. Or is what's running every country. So the whole like right wing, left wing division is used as a tool.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, here's the thing: you're more right than left, right? You're right of center, right?
I'm definitely far right of center.
Okay. Well, I am left of center, right? I'm close to center, but I'm a little bit left of center. I'm not into all this. I call myself like a JFK Democrat, which basically means I believe in like serving the country, some government programs. I'm still pro-military. I'm not into all this crazy fucking gender nonsense.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is just nonsense, right? But I do believe
You gotta be
economically.
That's like the touchy thing on TikTok, man. So we just gotta be real careful. But I think you'll be all right.
What? Oh yeah.
You just gotta be careful talking about that shit.
here's it.
That's like anti-TikTok.
Okay. Well, can I talk about JFK?
No, you can keep talking what you're talking about. Just be more strategic in your wording when you talk about these controversial topics, such as gender.
Okay.
When you're talking about gender and stuff,
So I'm a big fan. Though I'm left of center, like I like John Fitzgerald. I like JFK, right? But JFK assassinated, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, if people can't understand that there was something, if everybody believes what they put on the TV, like we're never going to get anywhere. Like our nation changed on September 11th, and we haven't been given what has really taken place there. Like there's forces that are manipulating our nation, and then we're arguing over bathrooms with each other. And like, yes, I'm a little bit left of center, but I mean, I view you guys as fellow Americans. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, if you're pro-gun, that's great. If you feel this way about family, and you know, I'm religious myself. Like, I'm not your enemy, but the TV is manufacturing us to divide on each other.
Well, you are a breath of fresh air, my friend. Most people who would say that they're left at all would probably hate half of what we have to say. So, thanks for being open-minded.
They hate me too because I'm not far left enough.
Yeah, because you're not like radically. You're not like, I hate them, like Orange Man bad, like.
Dude, I get kicked out of because I even bring up the fact that there are millions of European white people in this nation that are below the poverty line. And I talk about the fact that there have been Caucasians in this country who have been financially oppressed, who have been financially taken advantage of, and they lose their minds when I bring that up. And so when I notice that, it's like everyone's programmed.
Yeah, because
I'm dealing with people that can't even have a logical conversation anymore because they've been programmed to be totally sensitive about these really strange, outlier issues that aren't even going to affect our lives that much. What's going to affect our lives is like massive financial movements and war. And we're not in control of why that's happening. And we're arguing over things that are just crazy.
Yeah,
but
that's for sure. I mean, programming is going on. It goes on through TikTok, Facebook, social media, your cell phones, and it's a tool, but it's not necessarily a bad tool. It can be used for good. For example, if you're a father, you're the one that should be programming your family. You're the one that they should be getting what you guys believe, your morals, etc. As a father, you should be a stronger programmer than the society. And if you're not, then you fail, and your child and your wife become victims of society. So programming isn't necessarily bad. I just want to add that in there because there is a spectrum, not even a spectrum. There's like a yin and yang to programming. We can never escape it. We will always be programmed in some way, shape, or form. This is a hard reality many truthers don't want to face. But it is. It just is what it is. We're all programmed. We all have blind spots. And the best thing that we can do is be better programmers, be a more moral programmer for our families. And yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing. And I would also say that there's a lot that we can do, because wars, they have to be, you have to comply, right? The men have to decide whether or not they want to go to war. You can make the argument they'll throw you in jail. Fair enough. But if everybody said that we're not going to go to war, well, then the government would almost have no choice but to listen. And I get it. It's an idealistic point of view to have. But in essence, the point remains, and that is compliance. Will you comply? So they need your compliance in order for anything to work. You need to make an agreement with them. This world is contractual. So I understand where you're coming from, and that a lot of the things that take place are kind of out of our control. But as far as the spiritual warfare, the cultural warfare, those two things, which do affect us directly, whether we see it or not, we can have we can reject it simply by just ignoring it and not doing it. So we have more power than I think you're giving us credit for. And maybe you do believe that, and you just didn't word it the way that you felt exactly. And that's totally fine. I'm not trying to mischaracterize anything you said. But I just wanted to add that in there, because you have a lot of good things to say, but we do have a lot more power than a lot of people can think about.
I dig that. So as far as my programming personally, I mean, I'm a Christian. My programming would be the Bible as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
I try to put Jesus above everything. I don't always do a great job at that, but that's what I try to do. And I also respect other people's freedom of religion and all that. But so this is kind of, okay. A lot of my friends that are on the right side, they were against getting the jab, right? They did not want this jab at all. They didn't trust the jab. They didn't trust the source of the jab. So why is Donald Trump bringing out the Johnson & Johnson family and telling everybody to get the jab?
Exactly.
I mean, this doesn't look like a freedom fighter.
No, he's not.
So what I'm trying to reach out to my friends on the right and let them know I don't give a shit about Biden. Right? Like, I'm not a fan of Biden. You can have Hunter. You can put him in prison. I don't care. But why are they acting like Trump, this ultra-wealthy New Yorker, blue-blooded aristocrat who's been a Democrat his whole life, who's bringing out the Johnson & Johnson family, is some kind of savior?
Trump was a Democrat his whole life, and then he turned Republican. He's a Democratic plant, bro.
I don't think it's not a Democratic plant, though. It's a globalist plant. It's beyond Democrat and Republican. It's beyond either of those things. Like, the Democrats.
Yeah, we don't really like either of the parties. I mean, we don't really like either of them either. I mean, so who do you think is, who would you be rooting for then in 2024? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, there's been elections I've voted and elections I've just sat out. Like, when I started studying 9/11, I didn't even, after I had learned all those things I learned, and like, then you see all the things that WikiLeaks dropped on Hillary Clinton's connection to. It just looks like the Bilderberg Group and like those people are running everything.
Yeah, let's be very vague. I don't know what names will trigger stuff, but we're with you 100%.
Tap the screen, y'all.
We're deep in the rabbit hole too, my friend. So we get it. I know a lot of people might not get it here, and I wish that we could be more open, but it is the world we live in.
Yeah, there's you never know what you're gonna say that's gonna get you in trouble. You be talking about Luis has been doing a stream about religion for an hour, and they kicked him off for some reason. He's just reading.
Yeah, and then we have Twitch. We have somebody on Twitch saying regarding you, King of Monaco, I believe that's what it says. He said he hit it right on the head. He hit it right on the head. That comes from 777 Studios. So yeah, people get it, man. You are hitting it right on the head with what you're saying.
All right, well, I won't take up any more of your time. I just wanted to come on and let you know I am someone left of center, but my hand of peace is to every other American. So I hope people on the right know we aren't all crazies on the left. I'm just as much with you as I am with people that are talking about communism, So God bless you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
Man. Make sure you follow us. Give me your hearts.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, he had some good things to say.
Yep,
It was really good.
you did.
Everybody's been pretty quality today. Don't let us down.
Pretty much. No, the topics are pretty current. That's pretty much what's going on in the news. I guess there's a shift in America, right? There's a political shift, and we see it. We have seen it throughout history. If you go back and you read the books. But what bothers me moving forward, and all these topics are great, but I'm just going to kind of stick to one thing, is the perceptions of political behavior. Like we're voting for outlandish behavior, and I know that maybe the current voters don't understand what I'm talking about. Back in the day, it was more respectful, right, towards each other. I'm not saying there was all. I understand all the differences, but we're turning an era to where now we don't care what we say to people, and what bothers me is, where do you draw the line? Prejudice, division, racism is acceptable in a lot of ways now, when at one time it's not. So that's a big change, and that's what's going on right now as well. Nobody talks about that because it's normalized per se, but that's a big supremacy. And when I say supremacy, it doesn't have to be white supremacy. It could be another color of supremacy. It could be a billionaire supremacy. It could be somebody of economic status, classism supremacy, right? So we have that going on, as well as all these problems you see here. So what do y'all think about that? How do you feel about these newly political superpowers who are just, they'll do anything. And if it means crossing the lines, corruption, they'll do it.
Yeah, so I don't think that prejudicism, racism, they're nothing new. They're natural.
Right.
Yeah, that's all. I don't think.
I know. I agree with you. It's embedded in our society. In other words.
No. I think it's natural within human nature. I think it's beyond a societal construct.
I see. Yeah.
I think that humans have preferences, and I think that they have pattern recognition, and they will make determinations based on the patterns that they've seen, whether they are lies or truths. And race has been a component of that for quite some time. This is an ancient thing. We can go to other societies, and we see that other races don't like each other.
Oh yeah, go to the Romans, the Greeks.
This is
everything.
Yeah, so I think
Sure.
I think racism's natural. I think to be prejudiced is also natural, but it is being weaponized.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. You can go ahead and finish what you're saying, and then I'll.
No, you're all good. I was just saying.
Was
I was just saying that it is being weaponized. I will agree with that. It is being weaponized in the West.
That's what I was trying to come at.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if that's what you were getting, I guess.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I understand the host is correct. It's been well documented about prejudice and this and that. But yes, now we're using it in a form of weaponization now.
Well, it's nothing new under the sun, divide and conquer.
Exactly.
Mixed in with all this other stuff. So let's see, voting isn't a right. Well, the thing about voting, many Americans don't even vote anyways. So
Right.
Honestly, that's a mute point to me, in my opinion, because we have 300 million people here plus in America. Not even less than half vote anyways.
Good.
Yeah, it's a fact. Most people do not vote. They don't pay attention to politics. They don't even pay attention to the news. They really don't.
Good.
Programming is a tool, absolutely. Jeffrey Epstein lawyer approved. I didn't know that. But if
A lot of people who have the right, a lot of people who are landowners and stuff like that probably also don't vote too. I mean, they just there's a lot of people who just probably have either given up or just never really cared, or there's everybody's different. Some people maybe they just think they don't have it doesn't matter.
Right.
Multitude of reasons.
Also,
That's true.
I like to tell the new generation and myself. I'm older than both of y'all. We got to start looking to artificial intelligence, robots, because that's what they're pushing. So I guess that'll be the world will be different in 10 years. Gradually, right? Gradually happening.
Did you see the videos online of like the robot dogs with the bang bangs on their back?
I want to say I did, but I can't say if it was. I'm not too sure. I saw something with robotic dogs, and they were going into a cave to remove some stuff. So it's probably different to what you're looking at. But
I have a theory that Tesla's going to make a RoboCop, and that's what's going to solve the whole police incidents.
Wow, that's something. That's something to think about. And then people really going to be crying, "Oh, wait, no, what are y'all doing?" Well,
they'll be like, "Wait, hold on, we didn't want to get rid of the police.
This is what you wanted.
This isn't what we wanted."
With one zap, they can knock somebody out. From miles away.
Well, and they won't have to worry about dying, so they won't be killing people. They'll just be restraining them. Or
that's right. And also, we have, China. Oh, I got to be careful how I got to be careful here.
I just said a bad word too, I think. I don't know.
It's probably okay to say that, but you never know. They discovered a new virus here recently, a couple days ago. And it's a COVID virus, but it's a pneumonia. It's a pneumonia. I don't want to say too much about it, but y'all could research it. But it's spreading. Not here, obviously not yet, but it's a yeah. So y'all want to? That's a red flag right there.
Not worried about it.
I'm with y'all. I'm just I'm trying to live my best life, and I go to work every day. That's all I can do, right? Because people complaining about the gas and the food, it's out of my hands. I got to keep driving. I got to continue to put the gas. I got to continue to eat. And it's really, I have no control of how they're operating us.
Well, what are your thoughts on self-sustainability, Guest? Like, having chickens, raising, having a garden.
But in the Netherlands, I might be pronouncing it wrong. Netherlands, they're limiting farmers on what they can do. They're actually
we know all about it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I'm like, what?
It's not just there.
Yeah,
it's everywhere pretty much. They're starting to do that here.
Really?
That's part of the bill that they just passed, Louise. Did you know about that? There's some jargon in there too. I mean, the thing's 770 pages. There's something in there to help limit the methane production from farms. I don't know if you heard about that.
So that's bad stuff going on around, But I don't know. I just wanted to come on and say hello, and I enjoy listening to y'all.
Thank you very much.
Follow. We got multiple pages. I'm MOT today.
All right.
Go over there and give me a follow. I could use the help over there. They got me so shadow banned. It's unbelievable. So
I know.
Give me some love.
Shadow ban everybody. I've even been shadow banned.
Tap the screen, y'all.
Yeah.
Go over to MOT today and give me a follow. Everyone.
All right.
Signs of the USA is crumbling. Yeah, we need to build our infrastructure. And there's just so much.
Well, Joey B passed that infrastructure bill not too long ago. They're doing a whole bunch of construction around here, but it's just like the roads.
Yeah,
that's all they're going to fix. We're just going to fix the roads. Everything else can rot.
Oh yeah, it's a mess right now. We got the COVID really put a spotlight on everything. Depression, drug.
Let's not talk about that at all. We can just say
don't bring that up.
we can call it the C word or something, but let's not call it by its name.
Right. But yeah, I think the C word has put a strain on everybody because we're enlightened, right? We saw it before, we just never wanted to believe it, and now we believe it. Like we see what's going on. All right, well, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye.
All right.
Howdy.
Hey, how's it
Hi.
going?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Yourself?
Good.
Good.
So, yeah, I just was thinking about that a few weeks ago. I guess about technology. You know, it just I don't know. I was like, we're in such a dilemma in the world, but you know, I know only my own room or my own apartment. You know what I mean? This is where I was born, Boston. So I've never traveled around the world, but anyway, just seems like technology. It's the technological fix. Every time we try to fix something in technology, it creates 10 more problems. So I mean, I don't know. I don't have any answers, but I just wanted to ask you, what do you think? I mean, I wanted to bring up the W word. I don't know. I mean,
Spell it.
just seems like we're heading towards something
War,
like that.
okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
talking about WAR?
Yeah. And so I've been sober and clean 7 years now, and I've been through a lot though in the past. I'm a cancer survivor, amputee, but I've done and I continue to do a lot of work on my thinking, and I gotta watch my thinking. I meditate and. Negative thinking, comes in, and self-pity, all the rest of it,
Right.
And so I just wanted to throw that out there, and
So you're concerned with the future, like AI and stuff like that, robots?
yeah, I definitely am. I mean,
Did you hear my comment about the Tesla RoboCop? Did you hear that?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that
concerned about
movie too.
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool movie, but yeah, I remember all those movies, Mad Max, and there were other ones, crazy. But like we've already been through, like the nuclear testing age. I don't know if they still test them, but I mean, people worry about the planet, and it's like. I just don't know. I mean, I think it's, I don't know who said it, some guru, that the biggest battle is within the self,
Yeah.
And I'm definitely, I believe that, and I'm definitely looking inside, and I see a lot of conflicts, in my own, in myself, And so, but anyway, so I heard that it was Jeffrey Epstein's, some of his associates had this lawyer. Now,
Yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't him. It was like his pilots, one of his schedulers, and then
Right.
supposedly some other woman who was supposedly an SEX slave. I'm not really sure. But it was like, kind of like his person who would follow him around or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But then after 10 years of being a lawyer, he advanced into becoming a judge. And then, this was his next great accomplishment, I guess.
Right. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I just, my heart goes out to everybody, really, I mean, I definitely try not to get upset over anything.
You shouldn't. There's nothing you can really do about none of it.
That's right. That's
important.
Exactly. And like a few years ago, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, and I'm already I've had a lot of surgeries, and but my blood pressure through meditation and breathing, and diet, my blood pressure is under control, and I still go off, in my, once in a while, and then I know it's not good for me. So they have a saying that's like, anger is, resentment is like drinking the poison, hoping that the other guy dies or the other person dies.
Yeah, stress can be detrimental to your health.
So, but I just
Yeah,
want
man.
to throw
Well,
that out.
Yeah,
And,
well,
I love how you say the Republicans want to defund the FBI, Democrats want to defund the police.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty ironic, isn't it?
that's where
Yeah.
we're at.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, man, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure speaking with
Yeah, I
you, hearing your
appreciate
story.
you guys. Take it easy.
Peace, bud.
All right, you too, man. Yeah, so there was a couple comments in here I want to, well, one in particular, transhumanism will be the complete destruction of the human species. I disagree with that. I think transhumanism will be the bifurcation of man, as Nietzsche stated. And the transhumanist will be below man. They will not have a good quality of life compared to real humans, quote unquote, pure blood, if you will. So I don't think that's true at all. I think that humanity will win always. And then we had somebody else that wanted to hop in. If you want to hop in, feel free to send your request and we'll let you in.
That's a pretty interesting thought, how it's going to be the bifurcation of man. Like there's going to be like a separation, two different species. Eventually, I guess that means they'd have to go to war, right?
Maybe.
Tap the screen, y'all. Let's get above 1,000. We're so close. We appreciate all you guys for being here.
Both Putin and Biden are scammers. Probably. It says I need live access to request. I don't know how to give you the live access to request.
You got to have 1,000 followers, people. Give me your hearts. I'm going to eat your blood. I'm a vampire. Hey, there we go. We got past 1,000.
So yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's no way I can give you live access. You gotta do some work on TikTok, my friend. Level up in return.
TikTok says you got to put in a whole bunch of work for them to get live access. You got to work for free for a while before you can.
Right. Biden supported racist policy. Yeah. We know, nothing new, but we could make that argument about almost every politician, I'm sure, in America, if you wanted to. But yeah, nobody's a fan of Biden here, I don't think. Is anybody here a fan of Joe Biden? What happened to Peony Cohen, top regulator? Good question. He's going to become.
He got called out by us and he got shook. That's what happened.
Right. Well, I will say this about Trump. Trump has an incredibly loyal fan base. Like, it is insane. People love Trump. Hey, what's going on, Viral Frequencies? Hope you're doing well. I've never seen any president with the kind of clout Trump has.
Yeah, it is crazy. He's like the cult leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone loves Trump. Well, unless you don't like the color orange and you get triggered by it.
Right.
Orange is the new yellow instead of orange is the new black.
Or orange is the new
yellow. When you see yellow, it makes you go crazy. So like they see orange, they go crazy.
Or orange is the new red because the Republican Party is now just the Trumps. I mean, worship isn't the sign of an emotionally healthy individual, but I'm not saying that that's a good thing. That's not at all what I'm saying. You're conflating my statement to mean something it's not. It's going well, man. I hope you're doing well. Basically what I'm saying is that people are like treating Trump as a salvific figure. And he has more clout than anybody I can imagine with that was president. I'm not saying it's a good thing. And DeSantis, I don't know about that. I don't know. You could be 100% right. Ukraine is a brain distraction.
I heard some guy saying today on YouTube. He was like, I think the reason why they're expanding the IRS is because there's so many people who like don't trust the government that they're going to stop paying taxes, and that's why they have all these people. And I'm like, how the hell do you just stop paying taxes though? Like, you can't just. They're just going to stop filing their taxes?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, any W-2 worker can get a tax form to say that you're exempt and not pay taxes the entire year, not have any of your wages garnished. And then you just do it at the end of the year. So, yeah, there are ways that you can do it. So as a W-2 worker, you can not pay taxes till the end of the year. I'm not a tax advisor or anything, obviously, or a tax lawyer. But, yeah, you can look into it. And if you're a W-2 worker and you want to make sure that you're not paying more than you have to, just have to keep track of your money the same way that, a 1099 or a business owner would. That's all.
Well, it's just an interesting theory. He was saying that, like, so many people are, like, distrusting the government right now that, like, maybe the reason they're worried that people are just going to, like, refuse to pay taxes. And
yeah, I don't think that's...
Maybe that's why they're doing it. And when he was correlating that with them buying all these weapons, too. And then he's like, why do IRS agents need weapons? I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that it's mostly a scare tactic. I talked about this the other day. First off, the average intelligence is going down precipitously, so the amount of people that they're going to employ are going to be of lesser intelligence. So on average, I mean, they could get a lot of good people in there, but on average, it's going to be lesser. And so if it's lesser, there's going to be more mistakes. And if you're adding 87,000 agents or whatever it is, there's going to be a training period, right? Just because you get the 87,000 people, do you have the manpower to train all of those in a timely fashion? And if you are training all of them, are they getting a good training? So there's going to be a lot of mistakes. And the IRS has been in crisis mode for years. So this isn't an issue that's going to be resolved within next year or the year after. Who knows how long the IRS will exist? The IRS is in a very, very, very precarious stage.
So how long is going to be the hold time when you call the IRS? Is it going to go down? What is the average time? Like 3 hours hold time or some shit?
Yeah, I have no clue. So I think it's mostly a scare tactic. That isn't to say that the IRS won't be coming after, people more. I think that there will be cases of it. And then there's also this argument where people are like, there's only a couple hundred billionaires. Now they have 87,000 IRS agents. Like that's kind of dumb. So you mean to tell me that these billionaires who have the best tax lawyers in the world, who can pay to find every loophole, that you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 agents for them? I mean, they're going to have to be probably a lot of agents to really figure out what the hell these billionaires are doing. Additionally, there's a lot of people who you need to look into to make sure that they're paying their taxes. I'm not against paying taxes. I say render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and the money is Caesar's.
An IRS agent for every man, woman, and child.
Right.
Elected.
People are working 3 jobs. It is that bad. Some people are, but some people have been working 3 jobs long before the economy has been in this position for numerous reasons.
Yeah. I heard that they said like the administration or whatever, someone in the giant bill they're coming out with said that they're only going to be directing their energy, the IRS, towards people who make $400,000 or more to audit them.
Yeah, well,
I think that's bullshit because just a few years ago I got laid off and I was collecting unemployment, and like there was a mix-up in the shit because like my work, screwed something up with like my vacation pay. So like I got paid vacation time while I got my unemployment. And so it was a big deal. And I don't make $400,000. So like, why would they just change it all of a sudden now?
Well, your odds of being audited are the same as a billionaire being audited. Just because you make more money doesn't mean that you have a lesser chance or more of a chance to get audited. Everybody pretty much gets audited equally. The odds of it are pretty equal.
They said, what they were saying, like, because like they're getting on this scrutiny, like, oh, you're gonna just like try and take everyone's money, and they're like, oh, we're only going after people who make $400,000.
Well, this is a fear tactic. Nobody should be afraid of the IRS. You can complain about them all you want, and you can say that they can do all these egregious things. Well, my whole point with saying this is that
their phone time is bullshit, though. You got to get a hold of them. Hopefully this will fix it.
I doubt it. I think the IRS is in a very precarious state, and I also think that this is just a tool to make people fearful of, oh my God, if I file my taxes wrong, they're coming after me. You guys know that they work with you, right? There's a lot of people who have dealt with the IRS. They have back taxes, and they come up with payment plans. There's tax lawyers that you can hire. These are things
they'll work with you.
yeah, exactly. They're not just gonna
get a hold of them. That's all.
yeah, they're just right. They're not just gonna come and attack. This is insane. This is what the right wing gets wrong. There's nothing to be fearful of these institutions. They're real people trying to do their jobs. Are there some NPCs, as you will, that are in these institutions that will just blindly follow ridiculous orders? Of course. But I guarantee you there's humans in these institutions. So yeah, if you make a mistake and aren't clearly trying to hide money, they will work with you. Exactly. So this is just fear porn, guys. That's all it is. That's all it is. I get it. They're going to be raising taxes. They're going to be.
I've never been afraid of taxes.
Yeah,
I've never
exactly.
been but I've known people who have never filed their taxes in years. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
why
it's
are you not
insane.
Filing your taxes.
Yeah, that's insane. We file our taxes every year. My taxes are ridiculous.
I personally don't think that you should have to file taxes. I think that they should just take the correct amount out.
Nope.
And maybe, then why the fuck should I have to pay taxes every year? Just take the right amount out of my check. I don't know. There's just way too much red tape.
Yeah, I think the taxes should be much simpler. I'm not sure how to make them simple though, because my wife and I have talked about that exactly, and she would agree with you. But the reason I don't agree with that is if you already have a healthy distrust in the IRS, in the government itself, why would you trust them to do your taxes properly? That's the benefit of being here, is that you can see if everything's being taxed properly. So it's kind of harder to combat that. But
but it's so fucking complicated that nobody.
It is. I agree.
Anyway, they leave they give the responsibility to somebody else because it's so complicated. They're like, what the hell's going on?
No, I agree. I think the tax code should be much simpler. Hey, what's going on? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Well, we're going to kick you out.
What
And
the hell?
if you want to come back in, feel free to come back in. We got somebody in the YouTube chat saying the rich get rich and the poor get poor. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much true.
That's the screen, y'all.
Gov should tax themselves for a functional economy. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah. In this system, deaf get a spreadsheet end of year explaining what was taken out, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to do it. That's something that I should probably be doing because I do I do some 1099 work, but then as a business, I own a business, so I could that's going to be fun this year because this is the first time that I'll ever really have to file anything as being a business owner. So I don't know how that's really going to work, but I get a lot of tax write-offs, which is really cool. I can write off portions of my internet. I can write off portions of my rent. Apparently, I can write off my phone. I can write off the miles I drive. There's so many things I can write off.
Hell yeah, man! Take advantage of the system if you can. Tap the screen, y'all. Let's get up to 1.5K.
People should be out of the tax matrix. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but if you're talking about the system itself, the taxes aren't bad. I mean, the money belongs to the government and the Federal Reserve, regardless. So rent around to Caesar's what is Caesar's. Transparency and simplicity should always be the goal. Sadly, smart people don't work in the gov. I agree with most of what you're saying. I think there are a lot of smart people that work in government, and it's hard to get things done. There's a lot of midwittery, which is what causes the simplicity to become complex. I would say in most cases is midwits make things more complicated so that way they feel smarter, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of wasteful stuff in the government. You've heard the stories of like in the military, they're like, it was like $70 for a roll of duct tape, you know?
Right. Then we got somebody on YouTube saying, I don't have problem with taxes, but want to know where my money goes. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, right? I think the ideal, I could be wrong. I don't know enough about the economy and taxes to even be making these decisions. But what I would say is, if we're going to pay taxes, we should have like a self-allocated system where you can choose where your tax money's going. Like, all right, you've made this much, you have to pay this much in taxes. Choose what government agencies you want to fund and how much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't work. We're so far in debt anyway. What the hell does it matter? Just
Right.
Just let them put their money where they want to, right?
Right. We have
At
come
the screen, y'all.
this way long. Gov should tax themselves and leave people with free health care. Yeah, I don't know. I was with you till you started with IRS edification. I have nothing against the IRS. I don't. There's always going to be taxes. Oh, yeah, I'd love to see the breakdown. Yeah. Really, this world is tucked. No, I think the world is in a really good state. It's time to build. Do you know the history of the Federal Reserve? I do, man. I do, which is why I've come to the conclusions I've come to because I understand it. The Federal Reserve, there's always going to be a central bank. There's always, I know you can say, look throughout history, there's not always a central bank, but there's always going to be people that are controlling the money that you're using. And the money you're using isn't yours, it's of the world, right? So you're going to, like, taxes are going to be around. It's not a big deal, man. It's not a big deal. The only taxes I don't agree with are property taxes.
Well, I was thinking about it earlier, and I was like, property taxes really aren't that bad either because, like, you're paying to have the freaking fire department come put your house out, like, if it's on fire and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like,
well, I think that just the fact that you have to pay taxes on something that should be yours, because then they're just giving you the illusion of ownership. So nobody really owns their property then. But I will say this. You understand the criminality of it then. State taxes I'm okay with. The flat tax, federal tax I'm okay with. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, there are definitely people out there who can champion tax, elimination where they will only pay consumption tax. There's numerous people who have done this. Go all the way to the Post General because apparently the Post General runs the show. They're the real person in the institutions that run the show. And you go up there. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm dead serious, actually.
That's what we should make the next bulletin. It should be like the mailman 2024.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, most people won't get it. This is like way deep in the rabbit hole. Nobody would understand it really. But yeah.
The mailman isn't just hanging out with your wife while you're at work. He's also running the country.
Right. So.
But we know that was the milkman. My bad.
Right. So yeah. I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but it's not criminal for the government to do that. Voting is a right. I don't think so. If you don't pay property tax, the bank takes your land. You never truly own it. You don't. And this is also another thing where I think people are totally misled with truther movements and fear. That is this. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. This whole movement. You already own nothing. I don't think people understand that. You literally own nothing. And the less you own, the happy you are. Like Jesus says, the Son of Man has no place to rest his head. But he's literally the embodiment of how we're supposed to live. So you will never own anything in this world because it does not belong to you. It belongs to God. And you will be happier with the less material items you own. But there's a satanic element.
We're just using the earth is what we're doing.
Yeah, so Republicans do not want to defund the FBI. They want the current leadership persecuted and new leadership. I've seen whatever her name is, Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever, tweet, defund the police. Steven Crowder was talking about some of that nonsense earlier too. You can think
Taylor Greene was saying that, really?
Yeah, she tweeted
MTG
it.
was saying that?
Yep. So
What, just recently?
today, yeah.
What the hell? She's like a MAGA.
Yeah, I know. This is what I've been saying, man. They're going to be promoting anti-establishment. You can think
Because they're all trying to get that Tesla RoboCop, bro.
I guess,
That's a big
yeah.
thing, bro.
Right. You can think the
There's a
planet.
new sheriff in town.
Right. You can
This
think
is not financial advice.
you can think that the planet is flat doesn't make it true, or doesn't make it true. God's not real. You're not real, man. I'm moving cross country with a
Yeah, you're a
suitcase and my
bot,
savings.
bro.
Yeah. Definitely a minimalist and love it. Right on. That's cool, man. Current FBI director, disagree. I just agree. Defunding the police
Wait, hold
is
on.
a
You're a
stupid.
current FBI director. Why don't you hop on, bro? You should have 1,000 followers, right?
No, it says that current FBI director was handpicked by Trump. Yeah. Yeah, the irony, right? Ozzy, where with you rest your head because it's, I don't know what the hell you're trying to say. Do you realize the FBI is a
Right.
federal police, so they're the same branch of government? Okay. Own
Someone just
stuff.
hopped on with the name Burrito. That's pretty epic right
Yeah.
there.
Own stuff, but you don't need all the stuff. Yeah, I make the argument that you can't actually own anything in this world ever. So, current economy is tamp it. It is. We need more funding for mental health victim services, but still police. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Mental health is, all the funding in the world isn't going to change that. It's something you have to change yourself.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
We got to clarify this because there's shit like schizophrenia, dementia. There's real mental health, but the emotional side of mental health, I think, is what you're talking about. Where I feel sad, give me pill. That's stupid. What's your views on squatter rights and not paying property taxes? San Francisco, for example. This is on YouTube. So I'm not a fan of property rights. I mean, that's not what I meant to say.
Kind of activated.
That's not what I meant to say. My views on squatter rights. I don't agree with squatter rights.
Let me just clip that right there.
And I mean, property taxes, I guess, are okay in some ways. In San Francisco, yeah, I mean, you can just take a look at what's going on in San Francisco, and it's not a good place. So,
I mean, I guess it's okay unless the police don't want to do anything, like if you're paying them to not do anything or.
right. Can you imagine the markets are always green, good for mental health, right? I'm more rehabilitation over incarceration when it makes sense to do that. Not a pill pusher, though. Right on. Yeah, I think that capital punishment should be a lot more liberal. I think that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I get it. You can make the argument for a lot of rehabilitation, but maybe for some crimes, like very, very petty stuff, maybe. But, lobbing off a hand, that teaches people really quick not to take something that isn't yours. So defending the police includes the FBI. Yeah. Yeah, I have no issue defending the police or the FBI. We should definitely fix the economy before going interstellar. We ain't going interstellar, bro. We ain't ever leaving the planet.
We should fix the economy before we go to Mars.
Right. Because
you can't have one without the other. Like, what the hell?
But you get the right. If I own property and don't pay tax, then someone has squatter rights can say after I get evicted, we'll have to wait until you finish the whole thing. I meant defunding. Yeah, I know. This is why I've been saying that the Republicans and Democrats are working together in this effort to defund. Markets should not crash on Mars. Voting is a right. Voting is not a right. It's a privilege. Democrats and
Make sure
Republicans.
you guys tap the screen. Let's get these likes up, yo.
Democrats and Republicans do not want to defund any of those organizations. I think they do. It's a two-party system forever. I don't think so. Just a couple of them have said this. Yeah, defund the CIA. I don't know about defunding the CIA either. I don't know. I get why they were established. Defund the NSA. I don't know, man. There's a lot of good people in
Defund
there.
NASA. Whoa. Defund the
Yeah.
EPA. Whoa.
Right. Yeah. I'm Australian and
Defund the
just got
alphabet.
my land
Let's
rights
just
from
do
my
the Russian
home.
alphabet.
Yeah, I have to check that out. Be like, okay, I don't know how you even speak Russian, but let's see. No, I'm all for defunding NASA. We can defund NASA. I mean, they're just.
Oh, well, that's a little. You're being a little biased there in your acronyms.
Let's see. Defund the military? No, we need a military. That's crazy. I don't know. Ain't much of an argument. Yeah. Which
You can't defund all the militaries, just ours, dude. But calm down.
right. Which I'm against the defunding of the police. Yeah, but don't defund the police. Yeah, don't defund the police. Don't defund the FBI. I would argue not to defund the CIA. I would argue not to, and I would argue to defund NASA. Your brain is straight smooth. Well, cool. You got a profile picture of a dog and 130 followers. No one loves you.
I like dogs.
Yeah, the CIA is one of the most corrupt agencies. I'm sure it's really corrupt. That doesn't mean that it is bad. That it's evil.
So do I.
Hey, what's going on?
What
I'm doing pretty good. So, yes, like I was commenting, I'm completely against defunding the police, especially when people ask for more training and more of all these things in academies and police departments, so officers understand what the modern day society expects of them. They're wanting all this additional training, but then they're wanting the funding taken away to pay for it. And in my eyes, that don't make sense.
No, this is what I think for the police. Let me see if I can pull this video. I think that we need more police officers like the ones in Brazil. I'll show you. Give me a second here.
I think we need more police officers.
Right here.
Officers like the one in Uvalde.
I think I know what you're about to.
Give me a second. I'm pulling it up right now. All right, let me flip this
If we
over.
had police officers that just sat around and purized their hands, then maybe we'd have a lot less, tragic incidents.
All right, so this is what we need, I think.
My God, sends him into the depths of hell. He's gonna wake up on some freaking virtual island someplace with martinis. Take a look at this. You can see he gets up in his face, gets several warnings. Get out of here, bro. I can smell your breath. Drinking way too much Thunderbird and calls him racist. And then
Boom! That's what we need. That's what we need more of. That's the kind of police training we need.
Yeah, about that. That would end up definitely in some sort of lawsuit. I'm not saying
No. I'm saying that we need.
We're gonna have the RoboCop anyway, so what does it matter? Tesla's moving in. They're making the RoboCop. It's a wrap, bro. Tesla already is a hand in hand with the government. They run NASA.
Well,
Elon Musk's the world's pimp, bro. He's the Earth pimp, bro. He's from Mars.
at least I can
He's
say
from the.
this
He
confidently
came from
from
the.
now on.
He came from the
No
future, bro.
matter
He's a
what
time
part of the
traveler.
world that you go, a lot of police respond to disrespect all the same way. You disrespect them, they might knock you out.
Exactly. They get it. We need to give our
Anyway,
police.
back to what I was also going to say. So, I did have more of a question / a comment, though, on one of your last statements. You are aware that a lot of
the NASA budget has been liquefied into the Space Force, right? The newest
Yeah,
branch
because
of the
Elon
United
Musk
States
just pays for
military.
everything now through subsidies.
Dude, Space
They're all
Force
funneling it
isn't
into
even
the-
about
they're paying
space.
for Tesla to just do it all.
Well, I'm just saying, the federal government-wise, most of NASA's funding was liquidated to make this new branch.
Which is
So
nonsense.
the defunding of NASA would effectively be a defunding of the military branch.
Yeah, we don't need Space Force. It's fake and GAY.
I mean, Space Force has always been there. It's just they was a part of between the Air Force and the Navy, but they've always been there.
Yeah, so why do we need Space Force? They can just keep getting their funding from the Air Force and Navy.
The Air Force and the Navy. You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. The reason why Space Force was created, there's two reasons. One, because let's face it, Donald Trump wanted to stand out, and he wanted to create a new branch of the armed forces to do that standing out.
Did he need
that
he
type of
needed
person.
he needed to make the Space Force to stand out? I thought his orange glow was enough.
Well, one would think of half the stuff that he did while he was in office would have stood out in general in various ways, to say it best. But
I think that Trump knew what was going on. I mean, you see all these stories.
To stand out.
I think Trump knew what was going on. You know, I think you got Russia sending up war satellites and stuff.
Of course,
Tesla's
at
coming
the
out
time,
with
he
the Starlink.
definitely knew
You know,
what was going on because
it's the new
he was the
frontier.
president of the United States. Most, if
I'm
not
not-
all, of our nation's secrets at the time was passed through him.
Guys, space is
Now,
not.
whether or not he acknowledged it enough,
It's the new frontier, bro.
Yeah. Space is a joke. We've never been out of low Earth orbit.
it's always been the new frontier. But at the same time, we know more about space than we do our own ocean.
We don't know anything about space. Space is
So
fake.
one could argue the new frontier is our own blue ocean.
The reason why they don't allow us to explore the ocean and explore
but
the
we've explored more.
well, hang on. The reason why they don't want to explore we haven't explored space, by the way. That's a fake narrative. But the reason why we don't explore more in the oceans and the Earth is because they don't want us to know about the hidden land. Allegedly. I'm not making any claims. That's what they say.
Would it be safe to assume / say that you're a slight conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Because the reason why I say that is because I used to have the same mindset as you was kind of just letting on just a little bit ago. But I came to a simple conclusion. One, even if we haven't explored space before, some way or another, we understand more about up in the stars than what we do our own oceans. We discover new creatures in our own oceans every single day, countless times over. So, and that's below our feet technically, because the ocean, let's face it, goes deeper than we'll ever know or understand.
Yeah, so I think that
The ocean has been here longer than any of us.
well,
And most likely,
I mean, we've never found anything new in space though. And the Earth, we don't know how big Earth is. We don't know what shape Earth is.
to our knowledge,
Well, we definitely haven't. We've never left, dude. Operation
again, to
Fishbowl.
our knowledge, we've never found
Operation
much more in
Fishbowl.
space. But
Operation
it
Fishbowl.
wouldn't be unheard of for the the federal government to cover something that they, in their eyes, if we were to find out the instance that we found out, like when someone discovers a new fish, oh, you discovered a new fish, cool. Is it worth anything? Is it toxic? No, it's not toxic. Fine and great. Is it fishable? Can I make money off of it? Cool. I can? No, I can't? All right, whatever. But if something up in space, the first thing that most of us would go to, especially in the United States, is, oh, extraterrestrial. Are they going to kill us? Are they going to attack us? Do we need to prepare for whatever?
The real ET, the real ET is
The
beyond
moment
the
they
ice
mention
wall.
anything about space.
The real ET is beyond the ice wall, my friend. Not in outer space. They're beyond the ice wall.
Ice wall. Are you talking about the glaciers of Alaska or?
I'm talking about Antarctica,
North
bro.
Pole?
I'm talking about Antarctica. The ice wall.
Okay.
The real ETs are
Sorry,
beyond
when you
the
said
ice wall.
I was about to say, please tell me you're not a flat earther, because yeah.
I don't know what I am as far as what the earth is shaped. I'm not making any claims. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not a spinning ball in space.
Well, yeah, I try to avoid the flat Earth subject. Me personally, I do not believe that, but I try to avoid it because me personally, I've never been up in space, but flat earthers, until they go up in space, I view that they shouldn't be claiming as much as they do. Because
Yeah,
they don't
so
know
we
anymore
can definitely
than
see.
we're
So, for
taking the
instance,
same.
yeah, so we definitely know that the earth is much larger than they claim it to be simply because we can see much further than we should be able
That
to
I can
see.
agree with.
We definitely know, friends, like you can see forever. Like, dude, if you get a really, really good camera, you can see beyond the ocean's horizon forever. And now they can see up to like 1,000 feet, like way, way out there. It's crazy. You shouldn't be able to do it. And you can do it. If the earth was a sphere, you would never be able to do it. So we know that the earth is not a spinning ball provably in space. And if we look up at the sky, they're telling you not to believe your eyeballs, guy. They're telling you, when you look up at the sky, yeah, everything looks like it's moving above you. Don't believe that. You're actually the one moving. Nonsense.
Well, it's called Earth rotation. Of course, I'm moving.
No, I don't think that we
That's
are.
kind of how that works.
No.
It's
What's
literally
above
just
me?
back up science.
What's above me is moving. I'm not moving. It's moving above me. I can watch the sun go all the way around me over my head.
You're also right about that. Space does move continuously. Our solar system moves around us. The sun moves every single day. A light source, if you will, if you would like to call it that instead of the sun. It does move from one point of our sky to the other. If you want to call it a light source, yes. It's a
And we
light
ain't
source.
moving.
If you want to call it the sun or a star, it's the sun or a star.
We ain't moving. Things above us are moving. We're not.
Yeah, they like to say that, the theory of space is that everything is just in the perfect position, and that's why everything works out.
But they don't believe in God.
I have never heard of that. I'll be honest. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's exactly what they say. They say that it's like it's so impossible that it even happens. It's miraculous. We're great.
Yeah,
That's
that's why whenever you look up at the stars, they're not moving. Is because everything is perfectly aligned. They say everything's moving at like a million miles per hour, But then, like, whenever you're standing here, nothing's moving, and they say the reason why is because everything's just like so perfectly aligned. That's why you don't feel it.
But once again,
I've never heard that. I've
I'm
heard
not
of
making any
the
claims
everything moves
as to the
extremely
shape.
fast of millions of miles an hour, but at the same time, you got to remember how far those things are
Yeah, that's also, I
away
think.
from us. The reason the
Yeah,
sun
we
moves
don't know that.
as quickly as it does, considering in comparison to other stars in the sky, is the sun is closer. The sun is the closest star to us.
Allegedly.
Because the sun is our star. That is our main star. Just like the moon is basically a neighbor.
Yeah, so there's a lot of logical inconsistencies with the globe
It's
Earth.
basically a giant asteroid if you want to think of it like that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of inconsistencies with the globe Earth. For instance, why is the sun's gravitational pull not moving? Why is the moon not in why are no moons in the gravitational pull of the sun?
Oh, but they're only around the planets.
Yeah, that makes no logical sense.
Tap the screen, y'all. Let us know what you think. Why doesn't the sun have a moon?
No, not that it doesn't have a moon.
Because
No,
the
that the
is a
sun.
star.
Yeah, well, the sun. So the theory of gravity is such: large objects attract to each other. So the larger the object, the more gravitational pull it has. Allegedly, the sun has so much gravitational pull that it keeps our solar system intact, and all the planets that are in the solar system
Yes,
obey
but at
the
the
sun's
same
gravitational pull. But the only things that don't obey the sun's gravitational pull are the moons. What?
Well, the moons obey it as well.
No, they don't. They
So
obey
listen.
their planet's gravitational pull.
Okay, listen to what I was going to say, though. The moons do in the form that, yes, they stick around their planets of all of our planets in our solar system. But the sun is getting bigger and bigger. Basically, it's going to slowly start engulfing us. The bigger it gets, the closer we get. And the closer we get, the hotter it's going to get. Do we know everything about our solar system? No, we do not. Do we know?
Are you blaming the sun for climate change?
Well, hey, here's another good question in here. So somebody in here, really quick, before we go off of all that, Real Money Jiggles, the guy's really smart, by the way. He's really intelligent with economy shit. So give him a follow, everybody. We had a good chat on that the other day, probably like a week or so ago. But anyway, he says, why doesn't the moon rotate and just stay forward facing? He gets it. He knows that real money is gold and silver, and he knows that our real planet is not rotating.
Dang, Louise, he opened your eyes. Like, what's going on?
Well,
What the heck was the real money?
Well, I mean, obviously, real money is gold and silver. I've never denied that.
I'm glad to see you diversifying a little.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we got somebody else that wants to hop in. Thank you very much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Peace, buddy.
If we are not rotating, how are we staying on the earth? Because it's doing the opposite of rotating.
Tap the screen, y'all.
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, look, man, we're like a cup and saucer. We're not like a circle. We're just like this indented, like, all right, kind of like soft brained, just a little lumpy. We're rounded in a way, kind of like sleep apnea round. You know what I mean? That we can spin and we can make some noise, but we're not necessarily breathing. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of world that we're living in. It's sort of like a human head. Sort of.
All right.
Am I off on that? And we should not defund the police, but fuck, dude. Why can't cops have personal insurance? Like if I have car insurance, why can't there be cop insurance?
I think there is.
Okay, then tell me where company provides cop insurance. I really want to know where provides cop insurance. I'm not talking about a lawyer, but what is cop insurance? What's cop insurance? What's insurance? Okay, like check this out, man. If a real estate agent needs to be insurance if they do a shitty deed and they have to go to court, why doesn't a cop have to have like some type of E&O insurance, just in case he fucks up while he's on the job? Why does it have to be to the department? Why can't the cop just take the financial responsibility for his fuck ups?
Well, then you're going to have the same. You're going to have the same issues as the medical system, then, right? Because the medical system is corrupted by insurance companies.
It's a wonderful system. There's many middlemen making lots of money off of it. I can't understand why there isn't another plethora of a million people that want to make money off of hard-working, law-abiding police officers.
Because they're going to be
Right.
they're going to be like, hey, we're going to have to raise your insurance because you killed 5 low-income.
You're going to tell me that they're not dumb enough to fucking figure out that they would make the city pay for the fucking insurance? Are you really going to say that? That actually can't actually fucking happen? That they can get the fucking insurance, but the actual people would still be paying for it because we're fucking morons?
I was trying to make a joke.
Yeah, and I think I trumped that fucking thing.
Dude,
That might have been a heckle, but I stomped the shit out of it like it was a cockroach running for its life.
So you think that insurance is the way to solve the problem with the police that the public has with the police?
How about a tax on their pension?
What?
Why can't they take a hit on their pension? Why can't they have to have an exemplary fucking career to get their full pension? Why do they have to fucking just like, oh, I hurt my fucking back, I get to go out on my pension? Why the fuck do they have that?
I don't know. I didn't
who's to
make
say?
the company.
I mean this really quick.
I don't run the union.
If a plumber knows how to fix a drain, like unclog a drain, you're going to tell me a homicide detective can't figure out how to cover up a murder?
What?
If a plumber can unclog a drain because of expertise, you're going to tell me that applying the same rationale to a different field wouldn't apply? You're going to tell me that the police that haven't been able to systematically fuck the rest of the community with just minor things that they have learned along the way, building their trade.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the Tesla RoboCop?
I would wonder if it would be any type of moral improvement.
Who cares about morals? We're talking about crime.
Well, I would assume that a lot of crime would be prevented if we were able to have some form of moral stimuli. I'm not talking about religious morals.
How are you going to stimulate morality in America?
I would assume that the golden rule applies to just about any religion. Do unto others as you want to do to you. Well, I would assume that if we encourage that attitude, we would probably get a better outcome.
Yeah.
Just that's what I'm saying. And probably should stop crooked cops from starting fraternal orders. I hesitate to call them gangs because even cops have to unwind. But these fraternal orders that they put those little cute tattoos and stuff on, so everybody knows that they're part of the same crew. Really girly, but it's not that girly because they're so masculine, but they still got to wear the same little thing to show their alliance, but it's secret, so it's a different type of tattoo for each group. But hey, or maybe have something to do with preventing the fraternal orders from ruling law enforcement. I'm serious. Why should a Kappa, Beta, Zeta, whatever fucking Greek letter you want to fucking add to it? Why does that same type of fraternity have to apply to law enforcement?
That's a really good question.
Why do you need a secondary fraternal order that's not your union?
This is something that nobody really talks about, that Freemasons are basically infiltrated almost every police department.
Fuck the Masons, dude. I'm talking about actual street gangs that are police officers. You know, pimps, drug dealers, murderers for hire. You know, there's actual crimes that police officers commit unabated, without any type of control over. You know, the real Rafael Perez's of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it is an actual thing. Movies have been made about it. And
yes, they have. Yeah, they have. And they portrayed it poorly.
Yeah, for reasons. I mean, they have their reasons why, but yeah, man, no, you bring up some good points. At first, I thought that you were just here to try to bring some levity and some humor, but
oh yeah, I think that you bring levity and humor to the forefront of any conversation because it gathers your audience's attention a lot greater than vinegar. So
I have a question. How long have you been following us? How long have you known about
That's what Trump's doing. Trump's doing his form of hunting.
yeah, exactly.
There's a type of like, look, you know, you have bees and you have wasps. For whatever reason, he attracts wasps.
Yeah, he does. He does. I think that this whole thing is going to work out in his favor, the FBI thing, in all honesty.
Oh, I think the FBI thing was literally planned by Donald Trump.
Dude, I literally said that earlier.
It's a long con. It's a long con. You need to be able to inflame your base. Look, like, okay, like I knew it was a long con when Alex Baldwin killed somebody because I'm like, fuck, they're going so hardcore. They went straight up Michael Corleone on this. They literally eliminated one of their people by making him.
Well,
think
let's
that
all
he
right.
actually
We
committed
should
a murder.
probably tone down the language here because we might get kicked off of TikTok. Let's just
I would make an assumption that Alec Baldwin was set up so he could mock Donald Trump in 2024. How is that? Was that cleaner?
yeah, and I'm not trying to be like a dick or anything.
Yeah.
It's just the
No,
algorithm,
I'm just saying that
keywords.
If I need to clean up my language, I can dumb it down. But I believe that let's see. Alec Baldwin was set up like a Trump, and you know, for a funny reason, man, a little old lady fell down a flight of stairs that couldn't be able to answer any questions any longer. That's convenient. So he
Very.
was able to do his Michael Corleone moment in the same year and do it very openly. So yes, Donald Trump is going to run in 2024, and more than likely, he's not going to have anybody that was established to come back and attack him again. He was able to take away his critics before his critics even had a chance to say something about it.
Are you a QAnoner?
No, I'm a literal realist when it comes to politics. You got to play a good game of chess to win.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. This is just a lot of the stuff that QAnon, was saying that he would do.
I thought QAnon was pro-Trump, and what I just talked about is that Trump literally assassinated two different people to make sure that he had less of an actual base of people to rise up against him.
Yeah, I know.
For a reason to mock him. I think he went out of his way to make sure he couldn't be mocked in the same manner that he was originally. He learned from his 2020 election. And the same team that was working on that has been working in overdrive, which is going to be for at least 4 years. So you're going to tell me that there's no way to pre-plan, and depending on what type of algorithm you're working with, there's no way to assume multiple outcomes and then the remedies of said outcomes? I'm sorry, I thought technology works for our favor.
So you're trying to say that Trump took out Baldwin? Or Baldwin's lady friend or some shit? Like, what?
No, he took out his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And he took out his number one mock.
Yeah, what he's saying, Mick, this is what he's saying.
The two things that could sink his battleship, he was able to kill 2 years before the election, so it has a plausible deniability that those two events were even relatedly connected and or ever connected to Donald Trump. And to be perfectly honest, Donald Trump's too stupid to be able to pull that shit off. That's somebody that has a larger ability to control the economy around them. And I'm not talking about an American. Or you may just want to say, this is the QAnon that you were looking for. You know, we do have a Central Intelligence Agency that doesn't necessarily work for anybody else other than the Central Intelligence Agency. So who's to assume that we're not actually at a Civil War level of bullshit within the ranks of government already?
I've been saying this forever.
This ultimate Cold War going on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Now, it's very interesting what you're saying, though, that Trump would do these things to eliminate his hecklers, but Alec Baldwin wasn't very effective. I don't think many people follow Alec Baldwin.
Was pretty effective for
But
an
then
entire year.
also, no, I don't think that many people listen to him, but I would also say that, well, hang on, dude. So that's kind of, I'm dubious of that. And then the whole thing with his wife, maybe, but you know, these are wild allegations, and I don't know that there's any. I just don't get it.
Not wild allegations, just
They are.
allegations that have plausible other explanations. They're
Yes.
not wild.
I would say that they're.
It's plausible in another word.
No, I would say that they are wild in the sense that they're just inferences. I mean, they're just conjecture. Like there's no real evidence to suggest that these things are true, especially eliminating his number one heckler.
The only benefit is political. There is no other benefit. There would be no other reason.
Yeah,
to
but I don't
do
think that
anything so elaborate.
I don't think
There's
that
no other reason to do anything so elaborate.
No, I think that
Own your power.
I think
This
that
is its power.
I think that a lot of what we see politically is theater. So I don't know that what you're saying would even be true for Trump. I'm not a Trumper, by the way, but it just seems like insane, actually. And I get into conspiracy theories, trust me. But that
So
one,
answer your question. How many coups have you paid attention to? Can you talk about what was the first coup that you noticed and why you started learning about coup d'etat and how coup d'etat actually happens? Please, I would give you the floor because I overtalked a lot.
yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So I can't say that I've studied them in depth, but I do know that the CIA
Now,
was.
what coup d'etat comes to mind first? What's the first coup d'etat that comes to mind?
That's exactly what I'm getting at here. So I know that the CIA was pretty much established to do just that in the
Talking about the CIA, I'm talking about actual.
I know. So
CIA
stop
do
being a
not run
dick at this
government
point.
other
So
than
once
what
again,
government you hear.
stop being a dick. I'm trying to answer your question. All right. You're not going to hijack the show and cut me off. All right. I'm going to answer your question.
Already did.
I'm sure that you're more informed on this than I am. All right. So I'm going to give you the floor, but I'm going to let you know what I know, which is basically this. All right. The CIA was pretty much formed to do just that in other nations. And so the first nation that comes to my mind is Syria. I know that we've established color revolutions all over the place.
And what
Now,
year? What coup?
it
What
did-
coup in Syria?
Yeah, there was like in the 1940s.
There was many coups in the 1940s that the CIA was involved in, but that
I'm
is
talking
where
specifically
our
about
blood has
Syria.
turned, so
I-
please go ahead.
I'm giving you just the one example, and I'm not claiming that I know more than you. So I would be really, really appreciative if you would explain more to me, because I'm not claiming I have more knowledge than you. I'm just telling you what I know, and that is that right there, that the CIA has set up coups before. I haven't studied them in depth. I'm not an expert in coup d'etats, but I do understand how the mechanisms of them, how they will sow division, which will then create disorder, and then you can have another government come in that's behind the scenes, another financer behind the scenes, because it is multi-layered, right? So you have multiple people behind the scenes that will come up and then become the new elites. This is kind of the mechanism for coup d'etats.
Pinochet. Instead of keep on going, just go to Chile. Study what happened in Chile, and that wasn't in the 1940s. That was in the 1960s. Go to Chile and watch how Pinochet was put into power, and watch what the structure was that allowed a general to take power in the first place. and all the little, we had a crew in Los Angeles that called themselves the Hack Squad. They would throw guys off of cliffs, tell them to get out of town. Well, the CIA used to do that too. In Africa and South America, they were really popular with their one-way flights. So that's basically what we should be paying attention to, was how those people kept themselves in power for 30 plus years. That's what we should be looking at.
So basically, well,
That's
hang
what
on.
Trump is studying.
So you just said that Trump isn't that smart. Well, hang on.
And how they were successful.
Hang on. So you're saying that Trump isn't that smart, but then you're saying that he has this ability to mastermind a coup d'etat, which he could. He could. That is a plausible explanation. But it's kind of maybe I'm misunderstanding you.
The assumption that a guy that has a higher failure rate than success rate, regardless that that success rate yielded cash, but he also had seed money to start it off with. So you're going to tell me that that guy wouldn't eventually borrow money from somebody and then have that shit held over him? That's just business. That's literally how business happens. You take a risk and you end up having to work with somebody you don't want to work with. And then it just starts from there.
Yeah, so I get that. I get that.
It's a real simple process.
Yeah, so no, I get that. I mean, we can look throughout history. Winston Churchill was in a similar predicament, right? So we know that that can happen to leaders for sure. But you have to be rather intelligent to get to where Trump has gotten to. You can't be an idiot and do what Trump is doing. You can't have low IQ and do that.
There's the term, the useful idiot.
Well, also, how do you explain the world? So first off, you know how they say real recognizes real. Intelligent people recognize other intelligent people. And some of the smartest people in the world are saying that Trump is one of the smartest people they've met. He's actually a very intelligent man.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this before I go. That's laughable. I've heard very contradictory statements, but I said this before Trump even ran. If that guy wins, the ovens are going to get turned back on, and I believe that.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
And it's not going to be who you think it is, because it's just whoever disagrees the loudest. They're just going to disappear.
No, dude, I think.
That's it, man.
Well, I mean,
that's all I got to say about that. You have a good day.
Well, I think that we can definitely say the same things about the Clintons, right? We can make
the
this.
Ovens didn't turn on.
The Evans are either way hippie. Yeah. So this guy's argument.
Like he said, the ovens are going to turn on if Trump wins. Like he won, and the ovens never turned on. I don't understand.
Well, he's talking about. He's speaking in code, man. Think about what happened in the 1940s to people that wear small hats. And he's saying that he's
get it.
Yeah.
But the ovens never turned on, and he already won once. So, like, what's he talking about?
Yeah, I think he's kind of insane. It's kind of contradicting himself in a lot of ways. What's going on, man? How are you?
Not much, gentlemen. How you doing this evening?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Excellent. I always appreciate your lives. You have some interesting conversations with people.
Thanks, man. Thanks. We try.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. And I understand sort of what he's saying. I think what he was getting to more at the end was, if Trump gets back into power, he has now learned to never relinquish the power again. You see, what I believe the biggest con ever was, is I know I'm a United States citizen. I know being from America, an American refers to a continental region. And I know America is nickname and slang. And I know if I said my name is John Smith of Nevada, and I told a police officer my name is Nevada, I'm arrested for false information. If I go to court and insist my name is Nevada, I'm arrested for false information. So, according to the Constitution, it's United States used 88 times, United States of America 4 times in preambles, descriptive sentence, because of is a function word. And the plural for the United States is the states. So US, USA are the states. The oath is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States against all attacks, foreign and domestic. Treason is the act of levying war upon the United States and giving their enemy aid and comfort. So the greatest con I've ever seen is the Confederate States of America rebranding as America and making America patriotic. America First is a KKK slogan. Look at the America agenda. There's a Confederate flag at every America event. They storm state lines to tell governors how they have to live. They attack the United States Capitol to try to overthrow the United States election to install Trump as the King of America. I thought the American Revolution, we overthrew America to form the United States. So the greatest con is, how can you make America great when it's not a country? And the definition of America First, even if you take USA and they ask a second grader, put the A first, it becomes AUS, which is treason to the United States. It's the best con I've ever seen of how to create divisiveness through false patriotism by bringing up anger and moral issues to get the citizens caught up in a political divide so that they can destroy the country with regards to Supreme Courts and try to bring us back to another ruling. Destroy the police force, because what's the police force? It's 18,000 different types of legal jurisdiction. Every sheriff is a different legal law. Every police force is a different law. And every state trooper is a different law. So now we have to get rid of all those police departments and install America Police. Now, what's the drinking law in America? Massachusetts, no drinking on Sundays. Utah, limited alcohol. Some dry towns. Vegas, 24/7. See how America doesn't work? But they want a dictatorship because they want control. I like the United States, where even if I don't agree with you, I'll support you to live in a dry town, even though I live in Vegas. I'll help you write laws for things that I don't agree with, because people who don't agree with how I might live die to defend my rights, and vice versa. So all we ever do in this country is fight with laws. But they have us fighting over division. Women's rights, trans rights, black lives. All persons born becomes a United States citizen. Therefore, it's a non-binary. We the people, all persons, the Constitution is non-binary. So trans rights, there's no such thing as U.S. citizen rights. But we ask for them to give us rights, and we don't invoke our rights because we never read like 17 pages of the Constitution in large font. Small font, I think, is 10 pages. Why have we gone so far from the United States? That's the biggest concern, because one side wants a plan for America, the other side wants to make America great. But I just showed America can never exist, but the United States.
I know the answer to that. We don't have a real leader. We haven't for some time.
We have people, and that's why I was saying Trump is a puppet to create that final piece of divide.
We haven't been given a leader to vote for that's worth a shit.
I don't disagree.
Keep giving. So
pardon me, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we just haven't had a leader. We keep getting these trash options, and people pick the better of two evils, and that's what it is, or they just don't vote at all, and so it's kind of hard to.
Amendments I'd like to see is if every job that most of us have done have required some kind of background check or training or certification for financial or whatever it is, shouldn't our politicians be required to have more than GED? But they don't right now, because when the Constitution was written and whenever they've amended it, they've never added in qualifications. Most of these politicians don't qualify for a job in basic society. Like Trump, Biden, Pelosi, I'd love to fill out a job application for Walmart with their work history, past history, financial, allegations, sexual allegations at times, and see, does this person qualify to be on their feet for 8 to 10 hours a day around children, inventory, and cash? The answer is no. And then if you add in guaranteed 4-year unfireable job, the answer is no. So why are we hiring these people to run the country and make rules for positions that they don't even qualify for themselves? And that's where we're failing. I agree 100%. How can we put forth better options? And how can we get a president of the United States, not a Democratic or Republican president? United States.
So what, are you into third parties? Where are you located? Are you an American?
I live in Vegas, but I'm from Ireland originally. That's why I know
Okay.
I'm European as well, but I never argue that Europe's my country. And we
But
claim
are you an
Europe.
American citizen? Like, are you allowed to
No.
vote?
No, I'm a United States citizen.
Yeah. Oh, I said American
Nah,
just because you know.
No, I'm just
Sorry, I guess that's like a flaw. You know, people would be hating on me because I'd be saying that, like, America's not a country. I'm like, whatever, I'm American. Like, I don't know.
No, we are American, 100%. Just like Canadians are
Yeah,
Americans.
yeah, I guess.
Americans, there are a billion Americans. When a politician says healthcare for Americans, if an Irish politician said healthcare for Europeans, I'd be like, you're an idiot. We can't afford that. How about healthcare for Ireland? So words are important, especially in politics, and everyone claims to love the Constitution until you use the Constitution. And then they go, semantics. Well, that's not Constitution. That's not law. So why does everyone claim to love the law until you interpret it? And then they go, well, I just don't want it. So why can't we be more united? And that's what the politicians are doing. They're really trying to divide us. And I'm not necessarily third party. I'm more better party, which is both sides are full of unqualified politicians. Let's just be honest.
But is it really
We're not
the
Irish,
politicians
and that's
trying?
what we need to clean up.
But is it really the politicians trying to divide us?
100%. Why is trans rights even an issue? Shouldn't the politicians be saying there's no such thing as every U.S. citizen has the same rights as everyone else? There's
Yeah,
no such
so
thing as gay rights or trans rights or LGBT because you all have the same rights.
I guess
So if all persons can get married, all persons can get married.
I guess a better way to frame the question would be the politicians are lobbied to support certain things, or else they don't get their war chest built, needed in order to run in their next election, whether it be 2 years, 6 years, or in the case of a president, 4 years. So are the politicians really in control of what they decide to divide us with?
No, not necessarily, but that's because they've taken their own personal gain over their obligation and oath to the country, which is what would be called a breach of fiduciary responsibilities, wouldn't it? So why don't we hold them accountable like we would anyone else? Like if you look at this, like we're the corporation, a child when they're born becomes an agent of the government, which is why Amendment 14 starts with all persons born, because you can't create citizenship and force a citizen to carry an asset of the government at your own bodily autonomy and expense to then create an asset for the government. That's called indentured servitude, violation of Amendment 13, Amendment 4, and Amendment 2. So that's why it starts with all persons born. And then also if you give citizenship to a fetus at 3 months, now the child is born 6 months old and you've changed entire birthism and age laws around the globe. So it's every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So giving a fetus rights is literally impossible because it would change how the world actually works with age and everything and citizenship. So you'd have to totally rewrite the Constitution, and that's not possible.
Well, I mean, it would not change how the world works. It would change how our world works.
Well, it change how age works because now when somebody goes to another country, they're not.
Well, age is already different
6
as it
months
is.
Old, they're 1 year old.
Yeah,
That's
so
after-
like there's
6 months after being born, they're already a year old.
yeah, so there's people that do that. There's countries that do that already have that kind of establishment with age.
Okay,
Where they-
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so like for instance, like there's countries in Africa where they'll consider the child's birth date the day the woman wanted to get pregnant. And then there's places, I think in Korea, I think South Korea, they start at the gestate. I could be wrong on the Korea thing, but I think it's relatively like soon after they're pregnant that they start counting the age of the child. So, you know, like that's already like subjective as it is how people view that.
Understand.
Yeah.
But
I know it's an interesting
seen a
point
lot
though
of
that you
things in
bring
our
up.
country.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with it. Is how the consequences of the actions and look at the list that people don't consider. So that's why I just like it should be our choice. And if you choose to have a child and create the asset for the government, then it's a choice, not forced. That's where choice comes into it. And I believe that's how our Constitution was written. It needs to be tweaked considerably. But I believe if we look at our base foundation, it's there. We just don't invoke our rights enough.
Yeah, and I would say this
Waivers on your
too.
privacy.
I would like to add this, that I understand where you're coming from regarding invoking your rights from the Constitution, but I would add that as I'm a man of God. I consider myself to be a man of God, that I don't need a piece of paper to invoke these rights either. I'm sure you're aware of natural law, which would supersede commerce law or maritime law, which is what we're,
100%.
yeah.
But try that argument in Thailand and Philippines. As much as I agree with you, unfortunately, that's not the way the world works. And the laws of the land, unfortunately, take that right away from you. And that's not, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but I'm just saying that's the way in which it works.
Well, in some cases, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, there are people that I'm aware, well, I know that I'm not mistaken on this particular point. There are people that I'm aware of, for instance, where the law, the written law will say, you need a driver's license in order to drive your vehicle. But that's not true, because as a human being, you have the natural right to travel. And so if you just use different wordage or verbiage rather, you can then win in the court of law if you know, because language is powerful, as you've already stated.
100%. That is only if you've never ever accepted a driver's license. If you ever accepted a driver's license or a provisional license at any time, you've accepted the terms and conditions
Gotcha.
stated to you.
And this
from
is
what I
why,
understand. And that's why I've seen so many people try to use that argument incorrect with it, like, nah, I got you. You can't just say that halfway through your life and say, I'm not going to have a driver's license anymore. You have to pretty much invoke that from the start and never
makes
enter
sense.
into the contractual obligation.
And
that's where they trap you.
But I will say this, though, because I'm not sure if you're aware of Tom Barnett, but he's the person that I've learned this from. And that is, if you are to get a driver's license or anything like that, you should put all rights reserved in all caps, which then retains your natural rights as a human.
I appreciate those things like that. A way to bypass the contract or within 90 days send into the DMV a letter to be able to opt out of said further contractual obligations. And that's where we do need further education. Like when they said we're removing Miranda rights, people freaked out. And I said to people, if you're waiting for them to read you your Miranda rights, you've already screwed up. You invoked them the moment you pulled over 4, 5, 6, and 14. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. So
he's not suggesting run away from the police officers.
Don't run away. You invoke 4, 5, 6, and 14. Give them your information. Say, I'll take the ticket. And then you go fight in a court. You call the DA, and you.
So I want to circle back around to what you were saying earlier regarding the United States of America, which I'm going to have to think about that, because that's very interesting, the way that you explained it. But in regards to Trump and how, because I think if I understood you correctly, you're basically stating that this division is going to cause what they would like is a dictatorship, because divide and conquer, chaos out of, creating order out of chaos, essentially. And that basically, if I'm not mistaken, your position would be Trump is an agent of chaos to implement that dictatorship over America, over the United States, to make it this America that they want.
Did the Confederacy say they'd always rise again?
Yes.
Okay. Did Russia say they would overthrow the United States internally?
I don't know that they said that. That's news to me.
That's exactly what the KGB said they would do. They would never fire a bullet against us or wage war. They'd overthrow us internally. Then didn't we have one of these Russian fellas like chatting at some Republican event there the other night, getting standing ovations and all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the USSR? Somebody came along and said, make Russia great. And then USSR got divided into multiple independent countries, and one dictator took over a majority section of USSR. So is USA being turned into America? USSR to Russia?
Wow.
Again, I don't know.
That's profound thinking right there. Those are some really good dots, because wow, man. Because if civil war does ensue and the nation is split up, how can you bring a crumbled nation back together? Well, with the right leader. Yeah, man. Wow.
You're gonna have the South reunite as the Confederate States of Florida and all these Trumpism aspects, and then you're gonna have a bunch of other states join together and other ones start to secede.
Man, that's
the best con I've ever seen on how to overthrow a country with grammar and education. On a basic document of your constitution.
Dude, you're blowing my mind. There's so much gravy in this, man. It's fucking nuts.
Real money jiggle.
vehicles.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on the Tesla RoboCop?
We're screwed either way, let's be honest. At least with the Tesla Robocop, I might be able to hack him. You know what I mean? Throw an EMP blast or whatever it is in his general direction. But I can't do that same thing to a cop. Look, I've even got a video posted about security warnings to security councils in Europe about weaponizing drones, because they'll just put the little C4 into it, facial recognition, and you drop a swarm of drones into a city and take out who you want. I mean, so don't bring a gun to a drone fight either. So all these 2A people, I'm like, dude, like, yeah, great, have your guns, but at the end of the day, I mean, break into my place and I've got a scalpel, igloo, and a block of ice, and I'll make money harvesting you. I'm not going to make a mess and a noise or waste money. Like, I mean, thanks for the donation.
You know, I don't know how much we can go down this road, but that's what I agree with that, man. I think that having your I don't know what the word I should call it, with your bang, your piece is not bad, but for home defense, I think that there's much better ways to defend your home than with a bang, because a lot can go wrong with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It makes it messy.
Exactly.
Makes too much noise, and you might damage some profit in the organs. I mean, my sign on my property says, trespassers will be harvested for their organs and sold for my profit. Donations welcome. I mean, others think that, I have a gun is going to scare people. You're not coming near my property.
Right.
And you might already have hot oil poured on you before you even come into the place.
Whoa, let's tone down the language.
What kind of stir fry are we making?
Right. So I want to hear your take on Trump then, because
is your TikTok channel a cooking channel?
Yes, it is indeed.
So,
it's all about getting fried most of the time.
so I want to circle back again around Trump, because it's very insightful what you're saying here regarding that particular situation. So what is your opinion on Trump then? Because I got what the other guy was trying to say as well in regards to, but it wasn't making sense to me, because he was saying Trump is a part of this grandmaster plan, but he's stupid. How can he be a part? Like,
Trump's
you can't.
an idiot. What they're doing is they're using a puppet and puppet's ego exactly for their agenda. I'm going to take it back even further, and I'm going to say, I remember when Clinton had us on a surplus on our deficit, because he was restructuring our military to make it a more efficient, stronger military while building our economy at the same time. Suddenly, somebody who couldn't even spell potato, who I wish we had as president, you know what I mean, now nearly, who I couldn't even stand to listen to, called George Bush Jr., suddenly came in with absolutely no policies. And the day before 9/11 occurred, the Pentagon's being looked into for $6 trillion missing in funds. And then suddenly we go back to a remilitarization of our country. America proud. Don't worry about how much money we're wasting. Look at these people, hate everyone. And don't worry that we're missing $23 trillion from the Pentagon now. And by the way, now America's really patriotic and we should be America first. It's been a phenomenal con of a slow con on, because you can never do this has been the long con, and it's taken a while, but with social media and being able to tap into people's inner rage of anger, because people have forgotten that the U.S. is the greatest country, because you can live in Pahrump, Nevada with prostitution, legalized plant, gambling, and alcohol 24/7, or you can live in Lynchburg, Tennessee with no alcohol making Jack Daniels. That's the United States. You get to choose how you want to live, even down to the very town you live in. And you can live in different laws than the very next town.
I had a really interesting theory I just thought of about an hour and a half ago whenever I was doing this TikTok live stream. And I was like, a lot of people think that our government has been infiltrated, and one of the governments that people think may have done it is the one that owns this platform we're on right now. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different streams that are doing the same thing with the different it's like we make a list of the most important issues, and everybody comes on here and debates, and it's not just us that does this. Other people do this, and I noticed this recently. And it's like, I wonder if they're like watching that. If they really do control us, then they're watching us all debate this, and then they're tracking everything, and they know everything that we're debating about and all this.
I don't care. I call them and ask them questions because it's my right. And they'll often say,
well
what's
interesting, I'm just saying maybe it's a monitoring tool, is what I'm saying.
100% it is. But at the end of the day, if we're using it in a civil way, especially even trying to say, like, all the Trumpers, I'm not mad at them. I just think they've been conned. And they want the exact same thing as us, but they're not understanding how to present it, which is, hey, do you mind? I'll let you live how you want. We cool with that? Great. Now you'll let me live how I want. Well, no, you got to live like me. Okay, well, that's not fair, remember? And once you bring that up to people and you say, hey, I support you, it usually changes their mind a little bit because that is the United States. That's the way so many foreigners have come here, because we can't live the same life we can live at home that we can live here in the United States.
Well, isn't that the precise problem with the United States? There's no cohesion. There's nothing to unite us.
No, that's the greatest thing is we have a base foundation of laws. If we respect everybody, we get to have the most fun here, because I've written plant laws in different states which have then stemmed across the country. And we get to say, hey, let's see what works. It's the greatest country where we can change our laws so easily on a small town level compared to other countries that you can really enjoy yourself. Like, what other country has got what Trump Nevada has? But then you can also live in Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
Seems like a lot more countries have more like, we have the states. We're the United States. The states make the rules, and that was the whole Roe v. W thing. And other countries seem to be more like federalized, like the federal government. The federal governments of those countries seem to have more rule, and they don't allow their states or whatever to have as much control. I'm not sure. I haven't done a whole lot of research.
But that's exactly what it is. That's what we overthrew America, because it was a king telling us, no, you can't have no alcohol, and no, you can't have alcohol, no, you can't have gambling, no, you can't live like that. And we said, screw that, let's overthrow it. And that's why we formed the United States, which was meant to be an ever-learning, ever-changing democracy. But we haven't changed it in decades, because we've allowed the political agenda to say we can never change amendments because we'll never.
Well, okay, so
every amendment's been changed by them.
So what if this is the point of the United States, is to be, or America, what they want America to be? Since we're going to go deep in the conspiracy, and we're already saying that there's other powers to be, whether it be foreign nations that are China, or the ones with the Star of David, or whatever other foreign nation you want to say that's infiltrated and influenced the United States.
Even nations,
Well, I know you can go above central banks, etc. Then you can go spiritual, whatever. But what if this idea that the United States right now is being divided so that way they get this dictatorship, and this dictatorship, we already know. Well, I don't know if we know this, but I'm fully aware that the United States is the spearhead for globalism, pretty much. It's been used as a spearhead for globalism. So who's to say, with the belief that, the United States was meant to be divided and doing whatever you want, which means you have no cohesion as a nation. It doesn't. It means that you can't be a cohesive nation. Therefore, this idea of the United States being their own thing, people can do what they want in Arizona, people can do what they want in Tennessee, means that they'll be easier to control, and then that'll be the epicenter for the United States. So how is that a good thing for the globalism? So how is that a good thing?
It's not. For what it is it's about elite control of the people. At the end of the day, the 1%, like we talked about before, that's been created since the 1960s by then taking away silver and gold, really silver, from our currency and devaluing us at that rate of 25 to 1. A dollar bill today is worth 25 times less than a dollar bill from a dollar change from 1964. A quarter from 1964 still buys you a gallon of gas today with change back. That's effed up. So where did that money go? To the 1%. So the more they can control it. So what have they done since the 1960s? They've squashed out the middle class to create a total lower class, and then we've got the elite class. So it's going to be very interesting to see what does occur. Then the other scarier thing is when you do look at like world numbers. I think it started in 1900, there were 1.9 billion people in the world, and now there's 7.8. So in 120 years, the population growth in the world has just been at a rate that has never been at before. Like when the U.S. was founded, I think it was 2.5 million people in Americas when the United States was formed. Now we're 335 million. That's an astronomical, 154 time increase. And we still haven't changed the laws. We're still going, well, two-way still works because that's still a single sentence. That still works for everybody. No, we need to have a constant living, breathing document that gets updated, not by the politicians, but by a vote of the people.
But doesn't that's exactly, though, falls into what the elite, there's always elites. There's always elites. There will never not be elites. And the elites will always run the show. They can change. Those elites can change. They come in and out of power, all right? But they will use the people to push their agendas. So you can say the people, push it down to the people to pass, but they're going to be manipulated by powers higher than them to pass those said laws, which are just going to which are going to give the other elites more power.
That's exactly it. They're creating words to divide, like women's, trans, you need to be angry at this, two-way. They can't have a civil conversation like our founding fathers did. 13 groups of people who hated each other came together to come to a base foundation of agreement that then each
divide and
state
conquer.
And wrote their own base foundation of constitution on.
So I guess I'm just maybe I'm just misunderstanding you or something, because I don't understand how any of this is good then. What you're saying, to be free, as in what do you think the United States is? I think it's
terrible for us, the citizens. It's terrible for us, the citizens, because it totally divides our country. What it does is it creates, let's say, California and the East Coast into one new country, because now we're under one rule of law in that area. We don't have the same power in our local cities and towns to vote and change it. So now you've got one ruler of that area. See, right now, even in Nevada, you can go to Pahrump and change a law. I changed the law for Colorado, which the state copied from the state's copy. I could have never gotten plant laws passed by going to the state or the federal government. So to get laws changed in this country is much easier to do on a small level. But you can't do that if you're ruled by just the land mass and you're not broken down into your city and town governances.
So what you're saying is
the state, the police, the sheriff's department, and you've got one central police force, one speed limit, one drinking limit, one drinking time, all of that in our country. Look how Ireland runs.
Well, I would say this
Every
though.
city you go to is the exact same law.
I would say this though, that if you look at, I won't say I'm pretty well read. I have like intermediate knowledge on Chinese history, I'd say. And if you look at the way that their governments have functioned, they've had similar, not like in the United States in that sense, but in that there's the main kingdom, there's the empire, right? But then you have provinces that had their own municipal governments where people could, if they passed said test, join the governments and then have influence at that point. But it was all under a cohesive empire, a cohesive kingdom. I think that I'm not against monarchies. I actually think monarchies would be much more efficient than democracies. And I think that they would allow for the nation, societies to last much longer than they do. And we see that China, for example, we can criticize. I'm sorry?
The problem with a monarchy is you get your head chopped off and put on a pike as an example.
But this is happening right now too, right? We can
worse. They will harvest, they'll take your DNA where you go to prison and they'll harvest you and sell your organs when it's needed.
Yeah, but we can say that.
That's a kingdom.
Well, no. So kingdoms.
It's ruled with fear, not ruled with good intent.
Yeah. So
yes, China does operate like that, but I think it's ruled more with fear.
Yeah.
And what they've done though to conquer the rest of the world is economically. See, Russia is more about the military aspect, I believe, where China is more about the economic, where they've loaned so much money to so many countries. And then now they're going back in and reclaiming these buildings all over the world.
Well, really quick,
really
quick,
just and all these countries can't give the land back, and they're going to be the largest landowners in the world by foreclosing on all the loans they weren't able to pay back that they funded construction projects all around the world. It's an
Yeah,
amazing
so-
economic land grab.
Yeah, so yes, I'm not talking about like I would like to live in China or their rulership or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, and I understand, that they're taking over economically. They're, colonizing Africa pretty much economically. I get it. I get it. The new Silk Road that's being built, that's, I think, going to bifurcate the polar power, the hemisphere powers. I think it's going to go over to the eastern half, China, Russia, etc. Russia militarily, yes, I can totally see all those things. But what I'm getting at here is, with a monarchy, it isn't always as you've described it. And plus, you can say that it happens here now, that people are persecuted wrongly for going against the alleged constitutional republic government. So similar things take place here. We have political prisoners for speaking. That Julian Assange, we can say that he was a part of it. We can say that he's a part of the conspiracy. Maybe he wasn't, maybe he is. I don't know. We can say a lot of things that, we can include a lot of people in the destruction, that the constitutional republics have destroyed. But with kingdoms, what we have to consider, though, is that the king actually has more of a stake in the society. So if the estate and his people are doing poorly, he, in effect, is doing poorly. The way that he gets wealthier and more power is through empowering his people and his people becoming wealthier. Whereas in democracies or constitutional republics, all that really matters is the small elites getting more power, because you can rotate leadership out. And that's why I personally think there should be longer term limits, higher pay for our leaders, and I'd say a president for life, because we'd be able to get things done a lot quicker, a lot more efficiently, and you would have more cohesion in the society, and their families and the politicians would have more on the line when they're governing, as opposed to right now. Because one of the big reasons we have the revolving door in politics has to do with the fact that these politicians, I know this is going to trigger a lot of people, they don't get paid enough. I know it's hard to believe, but they paid $174,000 a year, which is why you see them get so corrupted. And now they're making millions and millions and millions. So why not?
They only work 2 months of the year.
Yeah, but they are doing a pretty hard job. Yeah, well, I don't know exactly what they do. I've never been inside of this, the Congress building to watch them work. I've never seen that. I don't know exactly how it works. I've helped out with local politicians where I'm at. I know that they work pretty hard, even though that they only put in, I think it's like 4 days out of the month for their city council meetings. But those that really care about it are studying these matters and really putting in the work to do the best for their cities. So I would assume that politicians on the level of like federal congressmen, they would be putting in a lot of work as well, especially if they wanted to do a good job. So you would eliminate the revolving door by paying them more. That's the reason why they do it, because $174,000 a year.
I don't disagree with that aspect of necessarily paying more, but I'd also say on any re-election, all the money goes into a central fund and is divided up between all the people rerunning. You can't just give money to one person. So now what I've done is created an even kitty for everybody running that year, and that's where the donations go to. So I can't give $1 million to this guy to against that guy.
Right.
If I put $1 million into the kitty, it gets divided between all 10 people running. We have to have a better political donation aspect, because people just buy their way in. And the only reason I'm against monarchy is any history that I've ever read as being Irish, it has never succeeded. And when I look around the world, every king has been dragged out, whether the intention started out right, but then they realized, you know what? It's actually easier if I just sell these people off as slaves and I harvest them and I do this. You know what? I'm just going to go down to SA and pillage this whole village. Do you know what? I'll just take their things from them. I'll charge them taxes on doors, on roofs and windows. Do you know what? I won't allow them to have schools. I'll have to have schools and hedges. I've just never seen a good monarchy, and every monarchy seems to have led to a revolution and some other form of government being trying to put in. And in Ireland, at least, I can be third party there because I vote for the Green Party, because we've got a coalition government. Like right now in Ireland, we've got 3 political parties in power, because not one party got enough of the majority, because you have to get like 70% of the vote. It's not, we can just sort of vote you in because hardly anyone voted. You have to get high majority, like 80%. And if you don't get that, you have to team up with another party. And that's where usually the Green Party is able to negotiate their small amount and go, I'll team up with you if you agree to these green deals. That's why when you look at Ireland on food, on green deals, on renewable energies, we're very progressive because we've always had a voice in our government. Unlike here in the US, where a vote for a Green Party or a third party is actually horrendous and it can throw the entire election the other way.
Well, I do want to.
In this country, it sounds terrible, but you have to vote red or blue because anything else can destroy the entire election process. And most of the other people are put out as a distraction to try to pull votes from somebody else. And that throws off how our entire country operates. So we should only literally have two people running. Sounds horrendous, but that's the third party just screws this country's vote the entire time.
Yeah, and I would say this though, to just rebuttal what you said about the monarchies. I get it, but no government has lasted forever. Every government has failed, has become corrupted. So I guess the better question.
That's why I agree with the reset of our system. It should be a constant reset.
Yeah.
Our democracy was set up to be a constantly evolutionary changing. That's why we've changed it to make sure we've given all people rights. It should be a living, breathing document. It's become a dead document. It should be living, breathing. We need to keep changing it, and we're not. And that's the problem with it. So that's what I sort of see, because that's what we've forgotten. Most U.S. citizens have forgotten what the United States is, which is live how you want, just don't hurt people. If you don't like it, run for politics locally or just get with somebody and get the law changed.
But isn't that like the most
local level to change laws?
But that's a very evil worldview, in my opinion, to do as you want, and as long as you're not hurting anybody.
As long as you don't hurt people.
But yeah, so that contradicts, because you're going to have opposing worldviews, and those opposing worldviews will come into conflict with each other, like physically at one point or another. So you can't have a world where everybody does what they want as long as they're not hurting each other, because there will come a time where conflict is needed. And also, the only way that you have safety is through violence.
No, but why is conflict needed? So if somebody lives in Trump, Nevada, and I disagree with them, I should be going down there fighting with them.
No. So I'm just saying that if you
them and tell them they should live differently.
No. My point is that over time, there's going to be enough division which will lead to conflict. Because if everybody's living how they want to live, there's no homogeny. And if there's no homogeny, there will be conflict.
But as long as we have the base foundation, but that's what the United States is. But we're forgetting that because every town and city, look, we have twilight or sundown towns in the United States. Don't drive through that town if you're a different ethnicity or minority, because you're going to get pulled over for a mile over the limit and your tail light will be broken. You know, so this is how the United States is. I'd mind
Why
agreeing
can't
with
we
it,
all
but I'm
just
not
get
gonna live in that
along?
town. And that's why the United States was formed, because we realized that, okay, I have to respect people's right to live differently. Can we all agree to this base foundation? Let's not hurt people. Let's give people basic human rights according to these guidelines. Great. Now, if we need to tweak that, we need to tweak it. But that's what it was written for, because we didn't want this government of live under me and do as I say, not as I do mentality.
But what governments have lasted the longest? What governments and societies have lasted the longest?
And that's why I'm saying we need to tweak our government so it's constantly changing, so it's not as stagnant. Governments get overthrown and get defeated by themselves when they're not constantly changing, when they think that they've already cracked the code and they're not willing to evolve. And the United States has not been willing to evolve very much.
I agree with that.
I don't know.
I feel like they should change over time. In the U.S.,
I'm kind of torn.
You're saying let's change it, but we're just talking about a different way of doing it. I'm saying let's change it from within the system instead of trying to destroy. Because if I destroy it,
Yes.
we've got the risk of really going to a singular country of a dictatorship.
We're on the same
If I
page.
have
We're on the
base
same page.
foundation and we tweak that, I can prevent that strong arm dictatorship potentially. So we're sort of saying the same thing, just a different approach.
Yeah, I can agree with that because as I'm sure you've seen, we're not advocates of anti-establishment whatsoever. I think that the government has a purpose in society for sure. You can't have a government you can't have society without a government. So I agree with that.
And police force, functioning justice system, all these things need to be working in cohesion. But for example, a vote. I can't vote with a text message because they say a text message cannot identify a citizen effectively enough to take away a constitutional right. And everyone goes, okay, and we accept that. But then I look at the justice system and it goes, hang on, how come a politician suddenly says a text message can identify a citizen at a specific time and place to take away their freedom, their vote, their gun, and stamp their citizenship with a red tag for the rest of their life? So why did the justice laws contradict the voting laws and only benefit the politician? We don't ask enough questions. Because if the votes are correct, a lot of people are locked up unconstitutionally then. If the justice system's correct, our votes have been being robbed from us, and we need to fix that so that we can vote more efficiently. Because for somebody to be elected with less than a 20% of the overall population, or 10%, whatever it is horrendous. We're not the land of the free, we're the land of the voter restricted and the land of the incarcerated.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, there is. And
I gotta
we're
get off here, guys.
Yeah, I was just about to say we're going for almost 3 hours.
It's getting late. Make sure you guys smash the like button, tap the screen, follow us on all the channels. I think we had a pretty good stream tonight. I gotta get off here, guys.
Yep. No, I'm with you, man. I got to get up early in the morning. It's 3:00 over here, so it's almost 3 in the morning. But real money Jiggles. Thank you for coming on, man. You're very knowledgeable, very insightful. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. Even though I've only spoken to you twice, both times have been very enjoyable. I've come away learning a lot.
I got one question for him. I wanted to ask him. Supposedly you're, I never met you before, but from what I hear, you're into gold and silver. The CPI number comes out tomorrow or today, actually. So, what are your thoughts on gold and silver? Like, what's going on? Is the inflation going to boom or what?
Looks like he's frozen.
Oh,
it's all good. I'm sure he'll be back in some other time. So we'll get his opinion that time. But all right, guys, much love. No after party here. Sorry, guys. You guys can do what you want to do, though. All right, much love. Peace.